Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Low Ink. It is I, Mad Gamer II, and I am joined by the one and only NM. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well today, of course. Just a normal day going on right now for me, but of course we are starting off the first Low Ink match of the June Low Ink here. We're going to be seeing Asguard Guardians versus a New Dawn. I just want to set aside here some of these pickup names. I've seen Lowe's customer service. I feel like 5 spin-offs of Shadow Wizard Money Gang. 5 of them. Like, there's so many. People just get so creative with their pickup name. Oh, Taco Bell Breakfast Burrito I'm seeing right now. Def Crepper Cutie. The Breakfast Club. There's a lot of just... Zest Best?
Yeah, they are on point today. I'm excited to see some of these teams in action. Especially the two that we're looking at the first hand. I don't really recognize the players per se. Do you know anything about them?
Oh no, with every month of Low Ink that goes on, I know the people in there less and less. If I were in the same room as all these people, I would know no one. Guaranteed.
That's good. We'll be pleasantly surprised then, or maybe not so pleasantly surprised. We'll have to see for these comps. It's like, with the new season, just like every comp I see gets more and more crazy.
Yeah, and of course right now, in the sort of state we're in with the meta, we're just trying to figure out a lot of things right now. We've seen Zap try to come up, and cooler comps actually trying to work here because, you know, we're in a sort of inkjet meta, and being picked up by an inkjet, it's really easy to just get cooler and go back in immediately. And we're also seeing people trying to either still run with the slosh machine for their midline AoE weapon, or try to go to something else, like either the Rapid Deco. I've seen some teams play S-Blast, and mainly seeing just the regular slosher. There's definitely some experimentation going on, and we might see some of that in Low Ink. But then again, I don't know. We'll see like a sploosh, maybe an arrow spray. Who knows?
Oh, I know. Like I've been surprised this past week. It's like you mentioned aerospray. It was just the aerospray came out on top. Funny enough, so like it definitely worked. It could definitely work.
Say psych right now.
Yeah, exactly. But going into our first match, Clams, Manta Marie, I could definitely see the Slosher coming out on this one. Yeah, we see that machine.
Interestingly enough, the Dapple Dooley's new bow, you never see Dapple Dooley's, and if you're going to see a Dapple Dooley competitively in the rare chance, you're never seeing that new bow. It's really weird coming out here, but of course, I love seeing the NZAP 89. If you know me, NZAPs are literally my babies. I love seeing this thing. Weirdly enough on Clamblitz, you don't see it on Clamblitz. It's mainly for zones and defense you can run nowadays. You can jump the zone, or you can run it with like dually comps or something like that. They do have a dually, but not really a long range one that will work super well with the chunks, but it can work.
Yeah, I feel like that combined with the dualies here is going to be like one of their opening techniques for just getting to the basket area, because the street can be pretty bottlenecky when the teams are defending right. We see the flank already coming out. I don't think New Dawn sees him just yet, but the Power Clam is sure going to give him away.
Yeah, Asgard Guardians have 2 power clans going, but they just need to find a way to get those power clans in. They're playing really back here, but the Inkjet is down. Ballpoint is down. That is your signifier to go. There is nothing that can stop you here. They just use their Booyah Bomb. All that's left is a Reslider and a Super Chump. Nothing is going to stop you here. There's specials. They're already getting in here. C Junior is already near that basket, trying to take out this Zap as they're gonna do it. They got their other power clam here, and they're just trying to get some more clams, as many as possible, getting it all the way down to 36. Can they get some more in? Both of the Splatlegs are down. This Dapple is trying to find the splash, but can't find the pick. The machine is alone and is gonna get splatted here, as we're seeing it go down to 18, 15, 12 in one push. That is a really good crab spot, but are they gonna be able to circulate 4 more clams to make to roll over with the crab, but not enough to make it a 1-push knockout?
Dang, like the 2 power clams was impressive enough for an opening push, but to get down to 12, that's insane. And they already have another power clam ready to go, and with the amount of paint control they have right now, like if they can't take down a member like they do just now, like they could be in a good position to start another push. They just need some specials to back it up.
Yeah, no, that's all they need. They need specials to back it up here, as we are seeing the members of Asgard Guardians just taking really good positions, trying to find their way to that basket. They see the jump is down, Booyah is being popped here. It's just those 2 left alive. They could just push them here, try to use as many stuff as they can, and just try to push in. C Junior is going to back up back onto the bunker here, realizing that might not be the best play, but the Heavy is just going for it, straight in. Going to be picked off, but that's opening the clam basket. The members of a New Dawn have to regroup here, have to get that power clam that's right under there so they can get a little bit more, but they're not going to be able to do it. The trade going to be going down as they need to push out of their spawn. They have an Inkjet and Booyah Bomb weapon. They have to use those to get out of bunker.
Yeah, it feels like these duelists, like I've seen them go down like twice before that push got started, so they're not really able to get too much ground here, but the nice pick right there is going to open up some room for them. They just got to be able to take some mid back. Like, they have the specials online, they can certainly make something happen, but it's like Asgard Guardians is doing a good job of keeping them from really getting too much ground off of this, and so that's just going to keep them from really getting a push going.
Yeah, but we're seeing them all pop their specials here. Inkjet, Super Chump, Booyah Bomb. One of the members of Asgard Guardians is going to go down here, as we're seeing Left In trying to push up, the machine trying to help them too. It's just the Custom Junior left alive. They can definitely get it in here. The machine is left alone with the C Junior. They're going to trade, but there's another still over there, but the members are coming back alive here as the Splash is pushing them out alongside the other Splash and the Heavy. I was so close. They just needed to push past that Custom Junior and just get that in. But even then, they only have 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go to 11 with 1 push. That is going to be really hard, and you need so much control with that. And again, they have the Inkjet. They can definitely get that control.
They've had such a good opportunity with the 3 down, but the Junior doing an excellent job of just staying alive and stalling them out. Like, that they took the trade with the bucket there, and that's exactly what they needed. By the time that the rest of a New Dawn was able to get into street, the rest of Asgard Guardians was already there to defend. And as we say again, like, Asgard Guardians got so much paint in mid right now, as a New Dawn has 50 seconds to make something happen, but they just don't have the space to do it. They're really going to have to utilize these specials they have to their maximum if they want to be able to get a push going.
Yeah, no, I'm mad, and that ballpoint going down there is not going to be good for a New Dawn either. That's the one special you really need, but the auto bomb gets the crab pick there. That's actually really good. That's not something you see every day here, as Tin is trying to push forward with the Zap. throwing so many auto bombs at this Flash, trying to push in, but there's so much paint under them, it's not going to work out for the Zap here. 10 seconds left alive. They have to make a push here. Lepton has their Inkjet. They have to be pushing a little bit more forward and get that Inkjet off, because that special, it is so crazy to me how much that special just works, but it is able to just push so many players back and be used as an entry tool. And there it goes, but it's going to get picked off immediately. And they had the ball with the Inkjet too. Two are going to go down, and it's just the machine left alive. It is looking like GG's right now. It is not looking like it's going to happen. And Asgard Guardians are going to take the first game.
Yeah, the Inkjet can certainly make a lot of space happen, but on Manta Maria, you kind of are at a challenge when you pop that from the low ground, because we saw the Heavy being just on the same level and able to take it down with absolutely no problem. And then on top of that, they had the Power Clone with them, so like even if they were just a distraction, they didn't have any other Power Clones to get that push going, so it just kind of fell apart right at the end there, and Asgard Guardians just locking down the defense to kick the win.
Yeah, no, not the best for them. But hey, you know what? Their comp for a New Dawn, if they run with the same comp, it might work better with the next map mode we have here, with the flat zones on Barnacle and Dime. Especially because their weaker specials, being Super Chump and Reef Slider, actually are pretty good at zones. Of course, being able to hold or cap a zone instantly.
Oh, absolutely. Just the paint value is perfect for zones, but then on top of that, like I mentioned before, just the opening potential of that Reef Slider and that Chump. Like, even if it doesn't get a pick going, it makes the other team have to either move or just focus on that special. And so that's exactly what you need for zones. I think coupled with that Inkjet, which can come in and just finish them off, they certainly got something going good for this mode. Now, Barnacle is a little bit wider of a stage than Manta Maria, so that is the one drawback they'll have to deal with.
As we are waiting on the last person to check up, it's nice seeing a new map. Like, I haven't really seen that many opinions on the new map yet. I haven't even formulated my own, but I feel like it might be in a good spot. This might be the first actual new good map since, like, Anglefish. You know, talking about brand new Splatoon 3 maps. We're seeing one of the teams with the same comp, and the other one going, actually trading their Heavy for an Explo. That might be a really good pick. Even though Heavy is really good right now, Explo is still really strong on Splat Zones.
Oh, 100%. I feel like this was a good call here, because going up against that ballpoint when there's so much open ground in the mid, like the Heavy would not be able to really directly contest the ballpoint, but having that Expo there, they got a little bit more distance, and the painting potential for the zone is on par. But, oh wow, we see the going in the nice double with the Reef Slider, and they are just going to get so much space for their team. The zone is going to be ticking down for quite a while. With 2 down off Asgard Guardians, a New Dawn has got an excellent start going here.
Yeah, no, basically a delayed wipe out there. The Dapples were just able to go in and pick off so many, even getting the Reef Slider pick. And we're seeing the Inkjet coming out here too, just being able to hold space, Booyah Bomb being thrown at that corner. That guy is good as toast. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just stuck in the corner, getting pinched between a bucket and an Inkjet. Like, there's nowhere for you to run, and that does, like, the one drawback of this map is, like, it's got a wide opening around zone, but if you can push up far enough, the lockout is so good. But here we see Asgard Guardian breaking that lockout and able to cap the zone. But 34, like, again, that is a fantastic push for an opening.
But the members of Asgard Guardians still do have the double crab tank, so they might be able to hold it here. But as we're seeing, the members of a New Dawn are trying to push back in with their specials too. Using the Super Chump come out to be able to get a little bit of shield. As one of the splashes do go down, the Dapple's in the corner, being able to distract the other one. There's no more splashes on the table here. The Expo has to be backed up by this Inkjet. They can definitely take the zone here as they do, to be able to whittle away that penalty and give the members of Asgard Guardians a little bit more to think about and keep them on their toes. As the Dawn is just trying to whittle this down and trying to hold.
Yeah, with a New Dawn with such a pretty decent lead, like, they can definitely play some stall tactics here, but Asgard Guardians is like, they're putting on the pressure. We've seen the Explode, like, that space in the corner is not safe from it. It is able to lob it so well there, but the Chumps just gonna push them back just a little bit here. It's like such a scrappy fight right now.
Yeah, no, it is just going back and forth here. 1 down on both sides here. So the machine has to back up a little bit, not in the best spot. But 2 down on Asgard Guardians is going to give a New Dog the leg up. I mean, a New Dawn. Frog in my throat.
A New Dog. Oh, man. like, they got a fantastic double there, but then they lost 2 of the members in the push. There's like, it added a little bit of penalty to Asgard Guardians here, but they are going to have to be forced to back up and just cede that ground right back to Asgard Guardians. We are down to almost 2 minutes here, and still a pretty decent way to go before the lead, but the penalty points are taking away for Asgard Guardians.
Yeah, but here we go. Tin is going to be putting the super jump onto the zone. That means the members of Asgard Guardians have to look at that zone and pick them off as the super jumps are done. And the Inkjet is going to be sniped from the air by that crab tank. That is actually really not good for a New Dawn. 2 down. Not going to be spelling any favors. Tin going to go down 2. This is not good. Can they get the paint? Can this apple get the paint? But they're too distracted looking at the opponents. The lead is going to go to Asgard Guardians and the members of the New Dawn. Push back in here as it's getting to this 20-point mark. They have to get something going. They have the Inkjet at the ready. They have to pop in here and look at these crab tanks because they can just shred it so easily. The Expo's going to go down. This might be their chance to retake the zone. They just got to push in, get the splash out of there. Going to be able to do it, taking the splash with them with that Booyah Bomb as the members of a New Dawn have 1 minute and 20 seconds to hold this zone.
That could have been over for a New Dawn there, but the crab thankfully was focused on their spawn. They were able to just circumvent and go right for the zone, get the paint that they needed. And by that time, the jumps and the Booyah came out to finish them off. And so now they just got to hold it. Like, they have no more penalty points either, so this could be huge for them if they're able to keep hold of this. But the Dapple's going down and the rain coming out. This is going to be tough for them to hold. Wavebreaker is going to get popped, and it's going to be contested. So close. They just got to hold on to it, but unfortunately, Asgard Guardians takes it right back.
Yep, they're going to take it right back. Those super jumps are not going to do much in this current situation to give them any favors here. Asgard Guardians just have to hold for a little bit longer, but they're backing up. They see this Inkjet. Inkjet's trying to pick off this Expo, but can't find the bit. Oh, they find it at the end, actually. And most of the members of Asgard Guardians are going to be down here. This is the perfect time for a New Dawn to paint this zone and get control, as they do. But the ball point is going to go down here. Wavebreaker is coming up. That is not good for the Dapple Doolies, as that is going to hurt him a bit. And there we go. It hurt him to death.
They were splatted all the way back to spawn, and Asgard Guardians 5 seconds remaining with control the zone and 3 members down. And that's going to be, oh yeah, that's a complete GG for Asgard Guardians, taking the second match here. Yeah, it was like, as soon as they lost that other opening, like, that was what cemented Asgard Guardians' victory, I think. Like, a New Dawn was not able to take the lead back once they lost in that one opening.
Yeah, they were just not able to do it. Very tragic, as they had such a good setup, but the specials that were being thrown out and the picks coming out from Asgard Guardians did not give a New Dawn any room to breathe, as that is going to be the second game going down. It is a playoff free, so we still have one more match, but it's just going to be going for we can take them 2-1 and maybe give us a little something over just being knocked out completely.
I feel like that was definitely their strongest mode, I feel like, with the comp that they've been running. And they did put up a heck of a fight. They almost took that. But I feel like going into Tower Control Eel Tail, Asgard Guardians definitely, with the double crab, is certainly going to be a tough force to contend with.
I hate Tower Control Eel. I just hate Eel Tail. I just hate that map. Period.
Oh, I'm with you there.
Hate it. Like, I felt like it was a fine map. I felt like it was a fine map in the beginning, but the second they did like that map change where they removed the ramp, that was when it was just going from, this is a fine map to, ew.
Exactly. No, it was one of the few maps that got the other end of the stick when the changes came around. It didn't even get a poll to make up for it.
No, it did, but only in splat zones, sadly. Only in splat zones.
Yep.
Yeah, I do not know. That update just made every map worse.
We'll have to contend ourselves with the tower control pole as we get into this next match.
Ooh. Oh, we're seeing some nice stuff coming out here. The NZAP 85, of course, has been making a comeback. I've even been using it myself on my team. I love this weapon. Of course, now being able to get 17 seconds in a baseline with the cooler and 19 seconds with just 2 subs and special power-up, it has become a Demon. And on the other side, we're seeing the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. Somebody else I've actually picked up recently too. It's a really fun weapon. You know, you would think it wouldn't work because it's an angle shooter, but an angle shooter actually kind of works for that weapon.
Like going up against the Flames Roller angle shooter is not fun to fight. Just the amount that I can throw out is, it's like on par with Burst Bomb. It's like not deadly, but it's annoying.
Yeah, no, and it can use that angle shooter as a makeshift burst bomb sometimes too. I've used it multiple times during during scrims to just try to like back myself up and just like, you know, just throw it down at my feet to just back up. But as we were talking about those weapons there, the first checkpoint is down for Asgard Guardians, and it's a free down on a New Dawn as they're moving on to the second check here, making sure nobody's left alive. They think somebody's in that corner, as somebody is. It's that machine. They're still alive in there though, but the machine is going to go down. Jay is pushed up, but the Dapples are going to go down too. They are on to the third and final checkpoint here as the Rapid Pro Deco is going to be going down here. Crab Tank coming out, going to be backing up the members of New Dawn so hard as it's already 3 checkpoints down.
We're seeing the strength of those splashes here, like the Crab Tank. Once it gets set up, it takes so much space. There's no way to get around it. Only has to go through it, and the Crab Tank will not let you go through it. They are so close to getting this knockout here. They're just fighting for it. 1 point remaining. They just gotta stay on tower for another second or two, and they can get it. Asgard Guardians with a dominant third game. Wow, that was over quick.
Yeah, it was. They got that push, and it was over from there. They just got that push, and that was it.
It's one and done. Third and done, actually. Oh, yeah, again, the crab, like, they had 2 crabs active at one point, and it was just a blanket of ink pushing ahead of that tower. It's like there was nowhere for a New Dawn to move. Like, it just took 3 of them out, and they were stuck.
Yeah, no. That was just so dominant coming out from Asgard Guardians. The first 2 games, it was kind of back and forth in some spots. It went to, like, timeout, but that time, yeah, it was just instant.
Oh, dang, like, that will be Asgard Guardians taking the set with a nice 3-0. Anything to mention before we maybe go to a short break for our next round?
Coconut.
Alright, I'll take it. We'll be back soon enough. Stay tuned. Go get some water, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 2 of Flow Inc. June 2023. That is the year we're in. I'm still not used to it being 2023. We're like halfway in, but of course I'm NM. I know it's so weird, but I'm still NM. Joined in here by iMad as we're getting started on round 2, being the Coastal Squid Surf versus the Shark Bait. As we're starting off on a little bit of a throwback, but of course it just got put into the game. Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track. AKA, please stop looking right side. They're going to go left.
And especially with the changes that they've made to it, like there's no wall. There's just a little hop and a jump. So you will absolutely be expecting them to go left, unless you're all dead. Then in that case, you might see them go right, but mostly left. Just keep an eye on the left side.
Yeah, mostly left. It's gonna mainly happen left. I'm not really recognizing most of these players, but I'm actually recognizing one of them on quote Coastal Squid Surf, that being Ego, who I'm pretty sure is in a pickup, or not a pickup, but is subbing for this team, of course, mainly on Heaven's Reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course, a while back, Heaven's Reflection did have that, what tournament was it? I think it was a Proving Grounds one. They beat, like, Prelude and another really good team. I'm blanking on it. But it happened.
It happened.
Sources, trust me.
Now, do you know what kind of weapons they usually tend to play?
No, I'm blanking.
Alright, cool. It'll be a surprise for all of us then.
Yep.
Rainmaker, Humpback, though, like this whole map's like there are weapon comps dedicated solely for this map just because of the unique terrain that it has.
Ooh, Blaster. Vanilla one too. And there's the end zap. We're seeing some nice stuff here. Both a Blaster and a Zap coming out here. Some really interesting choices. Well, the Zap is expected. This is Rainmaker. This is literally the Zap. Like, if you're gonna pick 85, you're going on Rainmaker. But the Blaster is the actual one in question, especially with the big bubble. We'll see how it's used here. This could be interesting, but as I was talking about that's a full wipeout on Sharkbait, as Coastal Squid Surf is already going for that first check.
Yeah, that was a nice opening right there. Getting to the full wipeout, just open up the right side, or okay, the left side if you're defending. But, you know, I feel like I'm surprised they with double Splatanas. Like, with this map, you need kind of a more flat surface to really make use of the Splatana, but I guess they're going to try to make this work. There's going to be 2 down on both teams, actually, so Sharkbait has a chance to make it back in, but there's still quite a bit of map control to Coastal Surf.
Yeah, no, as we're seeing here, the Viper doesn't really have that much paint around them, and it's trying to push against this other Viper, but can't really find the way in. So many coming above them as they're just trying to get onto this right side. Astral just trying to push in as the ballpoint is coming in, looking at that Ultra Stamp, but they're the only one left alive. They have Inkling at the ready though, so they're going to be able to hold their own for a little bit longer and make sure the members of Coastal Squid Surf come back and be able to take Sharkbait out before they can get a check here. As they're starting to move right side, Weebob coming out, Zipcaster is coming out too. The Zap is down though, as Astral still has it. They have to take out this Blaster. This Blaster has to go, and they do. They're trying to go on that right side, but they're stuck in a really bad spot. Any member of Coastal Squid Surf comes up here, it is going to not look good for that Rainmaker. But they took it.
Yeah, it's like the Inkjet and the Stamper were so focused on mid there. They were at the slip pass on that wall and get the nice checkpoint there. That is going to leave them with 2 members down. They get a nice pick from the Slosh Machine, so it's going to leave them to stay in mid for a little longer, get those jumps in, but they're going to have to build up some steam before they start making that push again.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to really focus on that here. We're already seeing both Splatanas down here. Another one going down on Coastal Squid Surf as Sharkbait is just trying to hold mid here, but Zap is going to go down. Captain able to take them out as they're trying to push up into mid here, coming in from the other side. The Stamper looking for them, but not going to be able to find the pick as the Splash is going to take them out as they are trying to get this lead back. They don't need much of that lead. They just need like 2 points in there. They got it, but oh wait, I just saw something. There's somebody behind them, and they're the Viper with the Ultra Stamp coming in. But this machine just can't find it, and they were so close. But Sharkbait is going to we're seeing a Goose Chase coming out. The Viper gonna stop them. That's so funny to see that.
Sharkbait able to hang on to the 1-point lead by grabbing the Rainmaker and just booking it from the last remaining member. the Wiper coming in for the save, so they are going to be able to hold it in that corner there. Still a point off from there, but with both teams losing most of the members, it's going to be a bit of a reset. Oh, but the wipeout on Coastal Surf. Sharkbait has a chance to push that lead even farther. They're probably not going to be able to make it too far with them respawning right there, but a couple more points with 2 minutes left, that could certainly put them in a good spot.
Yeah, no, that can certainly put them in a good spot here, as we are seeing Sharkbait does have the lead here. They can try to push it further. They have Cooler. They have popped the Cooler that's going to allow them to basically bomb in and have no consequences here. Splash is going to go down. They're 2 down. This machine can easily just put a Booyah Bomb and get another teammate in to try to get the push going a little bit more forward, but the Camper is going to go down as they're just trying to get in there. Chai trying to keep them back, but it's going to go down. It's just the Blaster and the Splash trying to preserve this Rainmaker, but they're going to be getting it all the way down to 17.
Oh, that is so right. Like, again, Rainmaker is like, not every push is impenetrable, but 17 is a nice place to be sitting at in the last minute here. Like, they did lose several of the members, and Coastal Surf is starting to push back in. A nice, oh, that is 3 down off a Sharkbait. Like, the one remaining member, they got to play some hard defense here. Oh, nope, they're gone. They got taken out.
You're going to play some hard defense here, just see them running into a 1v4. But as we're seeing, they're getting a lot of picks. This actually might be the chance. If they can play it here, they might get the lead, and they get it in 30 seconds left. This is not looking good for Sharkbait. They just got lead. They just had to defend, but they were not able to do that. And now Squid Surf has the lead here, and they just have to defend for only 18 more seconds, plus whatever overtime they get.
Not only did they get the lead off there, but they were able to take down 3 members of Sharkbait at the same time. So even though they only have the Wiper up, the Wiper is just able to back up, keeps control of mid, and just get the jumps in with 5 seconds remaining. Like, unless they get the full wipeout, this is going to be incredibly hard for Sharkbait to bring back. Like, we see the Inkjet and the Stamper online for Coastal Squid Surf. Like, that's all they need to knock out that Rainmaker carrier. And here comes the Inkjet, going to do just that if they're able to get the pick, and they do.
Yep, they were able to get that pick, and Coastal Squid Surf from out of nowhere is going to be able to take that first game under their belts, getting a really good push against Sharkbait, being able to just mow through them when they were just all down, getting that win. That's going to be really valuable for them as they're going to be moving on to the next game.
Yeah, I'm going to take back what I said about the Splatoon here, specifically for Rainmaker. Like, even though the middle is really, like, hilly and the terrain is just not in favor of a Splatoon, once they get into the plat area in the base, is like, that's a lot of open ground. That one Wiper was able to defend for so long while their teammates respawned. It's like, that allowed them to keep Sharkbait, Sharkbait at bay until they were able to get their team back, and then they were able to take the lead.
They were just able to take the lead there as we're going to be moving on to Clam Blitz on Mako Mart. Still a really good map mode. You can honestly just never go wrong with anything on Mako Mart. And I think these teams are going to have a lot of fun, especially that Blaster. Blasters, I feel like, are actually really good on Mako Mart. And this Vanilla Blaster with the big bubbler will be able to actually hold either the basket or try to hold one of the stacks when trying to make a push, as, of course, with Clam Blitz Mako, those stacks are very important.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm trying to remember. We did see a couple, like 1 or 2 splashes out there. That is another weapon that will benefit greatly from the stacks on Mako Mart. Is, like, I think comboed, if they combo that with the big bubbler, is they can really set up a nice push just to stay alive long to get a lot of clams in. But we also saw a double Wiper out there. The aggression and the be able to go up those streets, the back alleys, just like, they got to be watching for those.
They just got to be watching for those hard here. But of course, we're going to be seeing what both of these teams are going to be coming out with here. Because, again, weapons do make the comp. But of course, you know, we'll just have to see that and see what they're going to have to do and see what they're going to do and see what they're going to have to do. I totally made sense.
Lots of sense. Now, we did see the ballpoint on the one hand, but the other team, as far as I remember, was running backline list, which honestly could work for Clam Blitz as well.
Yeah, no. Honestly, you don't need a backline. Well, honestly, I'd say right now you might need a backline, but just because of how prolific ballpoint is right now. It's like the best weapon in the game.
Like,
But
ballpoint is the exception.
Yeah, it's ballpoint. Like, we're out of splash crab meta. Like, that doesn't exist anymore. We're in the ballpoint inkjet meta. Oh, Wiper Deco. All right. And then splash. Oh, I love that. All right. I'm putting a timer at the top of the screen. I'm watching that Wiper Deco and seeing how close we get to missiles. I'm predicting 451 or 450.
We see it painted up in the base there. Both teams are just going to be going for clamps, but no, the try is going to go immediately for that right stack. They take down the blaster, but they trade it out.
Yeah, and the missiles, of course, are going to be displacing the members of Shark Bait here. I would like to keep it to notice the S-Blast 92 as, and this is basically my youngest child. Of course, everybody knows I love NZAPs, but I love S-Blast as equally. I love them all equally. There's no one I love more.
There's kind of a bit of a scrap in mid, which tends to be for clamless. You know, like, there's not a whole lot of clams spawned yet. There's not really enough to really get a solid push going. So it's kind of a fight for ground here, and members are going down left, right, and center. That grab is some nice picks.
Seen that Booyah Bomb? Could it be? Two! That is two down! That is going to be so good for an opening. And that that try actually has 6 clams here. This could be a really good push for Shark Bait if they just get the clams together as they do here. And now they're going to be pushing up, seeing the try going on this right side, taking on the ballpoint. Going to be able to get a little bit of trade here as the last member is going to be jumping out. A early lead coming out to 65. We're going to be seeing if that's going to be working out very well for them, or if Coastal Squid Surf are going to be able to get a really good push from that. They do have the Wiper Deco. You have to keep that in mind. A brand new weapon that has already seen itself as a top tier because 90.
Yeah, 10 missiles. And you also got to watch out for those beacons, especially for clamless. You don't keep track of those beacons. They set up one right behind the basket, and then that's going to be a quick burn before you know it. But 3 down off a shark bite there, and with 12 clams in Coastal Surf's pocket here, they got a bubbler ready to go. They're going to be set up, and they're going to get that basket open.
Yeah, no, they got the basket open, they got the bubbler online, and now they're just trying to see if they can get anything more done, but they're not going to be able to get the clams in. It is so close, but they're just not looking at the basket. They got the picks, but no clams. That is what you need. You need somebody to look at those clams. But Coastal Squid Surf is going down here, 2 down on the side of Shark Bait 2, as they're actually going to be able to set back up on that stack. The ballpoint going to be able to keep it. That is really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even though they didn't really get a whole lot of points out of that, they stayed alive. Or most of the team was able to stay alive with the ballpoint on that stack. Oh, going up against the 1v1 with the blaster and coming out on top. Like, they're at least holding ground, and they can, yeah, they can get the clams. They can set up for another push almost immediately.
Yeah, no, they're already going in there, going to be able to get another one. Just a few clams there are going to be able to secure the lead for Coastal Squid Surf as Shark Bait is trying to defend. Going to be able to get the wipeout. And only a 55-point lead is not going to be putting much damage as Shark Bait is already trying to set up here. Seeing the splash coming up on the machine, going to be going down. They have the stack, they have the position they want, and that's 3 down. All that's left is the blaster, and the blaster goes down too. They can easily score here. Going to be able to do so, fighting this Wiper Deco, taking them down. They just have to throw in a few more clams to get lead, and they do. Still taking these positions, but this Crab Tank is opting to actually pop it instead of getting as many clams in as possible here. Going to be able to take one down, but going down themselves, of course, because of the Blaster. Blasters still have a really good matchup if you get in the right position against the Crab Tank, because, of course, the AoE damage goes crazy. But in the end, going to be able to trade out the try.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision there by the Splash to just pop Crab there. Like, they lost 3 of their members, and they already had the lead, so they didn't really need to get more clams in. They're playing for the long game, as we saw that ballpoint win, but just unfortunate, as he said, the Blaster coming in and said, nope, no more Crab for you, we're gonna knock you off that stack. But already, Coastal Surf is, they're trying to make something happen. They got a power climb ready to go. They just need to find the opening, but the Wiper is gonna just kind of stall things out a bit here as we get into the last minute.
Yeah, no, getting to the last minute here, and Coastal Squid Surf just need one more clam. They're able to get it in, but just the Wiper Deco left alive. They're going to go down, and now it is time for Shark Bait to rush. They have to rush this basket, but they're going to be taken down by the Blaster. 2 going down by the hands of the Blaster. The Blaster is just coming in there and trying to blast them all to smithereens, and that is a full wipeout. What happened there? The Blaster just came in and took everyone down.
Wow, that could have been huge for them. Like it was a 1-point lead there. Just a power clam and another clam could have turned that lead so fast with a blaster with a clutch play. But wait, are we gonna see ever? There's a wipeout. They have another chance. They have a second chance at this. 10 seconds remaining. 3 members down. They just gotta get it in. They get the one in. They need one clam. They need one clam release.
There it is.
Get
There
it.
it is.
Overtime does go into effect. They lose 2 of the members, but they just need another clam to close out this overtime before they can just lose too much ground here.
Yeah, no, but again, the splash opted to grab tank, and that's going to give Coastal Squid Surf a little bit more time for this overtime. The blaster does have the ball, but there's very few seconds left. They have to get it in now. And no, they were not able to. And Sharkbait is going to be able to take this second game, and you love to see it, a third game and a play all set that actually matters.
That was insane. Like the blaster getting the full quad. There's like that could have spelled the end of Sharkbait, but Sharkbait, like I feel like Coastal Surf just got a little bit too greedy. They went in for a push when they didn't need to, and that just led to the wipeout on their side. And then, as we saw, like the basketball was already ready to get open again, and all they needed was the power clam and a clam.
Yeah, of course, you know, that happens. I was loving to see both blasters, and they did use them both, but we definitely saw that V Blaster doing so much in that game. Not able to clutch out the set in the end, though. Just the amount of times that Crystal Squid Surf got knocked, like just full on wiped out twice in a row, which is able to give the members of Sharkbait enough that they needed to push up and just secure so much space and so many points. But with that, we're moving on to the third and final match of this set. Winner takes all. And the map mode that I wish people would stop running. It's not good, guys. Please, we are living in a simulation. Splat Zone's Inkblot is not good. Sources do trust me.
Reasons. It's not good for reasons. Reasons are valid. But honestly, like, the blaster could still make some good. Like, the only thing that really keeps the blaster away at this map mode is just the fact that it can't paint real well. But between the bubbler and the ledge camping potential, it's tough. Like, you could either go blaster or slosher and still, like, do so good on this map.
Yeah, no, they both could do so good here. We'll just have to wait and see on what we have going on, because again, camping those ledges is really good on this map mode because there's so many like one-way drops that you can't go back on.
Oh, you know what? S-Blast. Breach Slide and Sprinkler. That could do some work here.
Yeah, especially on some non-inkable spots. Some players just trying to back up on there because that's their only route back. You could just reslide right there. What are they going to do? Try to run away?
Get run over by a giant inflatable.
Yeah, it's an uninkable. You literally have no options. Down with the ship, you know?
Exactly. Okay, we're not gonna. Oh, okay. So no blasters this time around, but we're gonna be seeing the Rapid Deco and the. It's gonna be the Vanilla Tetras.
You said no blasters, but there's a blaster right there.
Okay, I was in a different blaster mindset. I didn't recognize the blaster of the blaster.
True. Rapid Blaster Deco is an interesting choice. It has fallen off a bit because Nintendo decided that it needed to be 210p. I still don't understand why. But either way, we're seeing coming out here. But of course, on the other side of Coastal Squid, we have a pretty meta comp. Flash, Zap, Wallpoint, and Whiprays Deco. Not really the meta in zones, but still a really good one, as the Trizuka was just able to get so much there from that splatter shot, as the Rapid Deco is trying to push up here, but the Whiprays Deco is behind them, trying to push up, but the Whiprays Deco has to find them, and they're not going to be able to here, as Sharkbait is pushing up. They almost have their ancient Ethos ready, but they're going to go down. And again, because of Nintendo's nerf, it's going to be taking so much longer. Nintendo, I hope you're watching this, because I will never let you let that go.
Oh man, they were so close to getting that one and done KO, but they have the splash up to contest zone, but with the amount of, oh no, they're still holding on to it. They still have a chance. 5 points remaining, 3 points remaining. The down, they're so close to this KO, and they get the KO. Wow. Sharkbait going in, taking plat, and then just not letting Coastal Surf take that zone at all.
Oh, that was so dominant there. Just being able to just go in, get the zone, and just keep it for as long as possible, making sure nobody even thought they were going to be able to get back in there. That was actually really good coming out from Sharkbait, using all their resources to their best bet. And in the end, it's actually Sharkbait coming in with the reverse sweep to be able to take that second set.
I thought for sure that Coastal Surf had a chance there when they got the 3 down, but wherever that splash was, they were doing some work. They, I think, at least got another pick or 2 down, and they were able to keep zone at least contested long enough for the team to come back, and that just solidified their victory once they were able to get the splats onto zone.
Yeah, no, that was just able to solidify that. You saw it there. But with that, that is going to be the end of that second set. We're going to be going on a short break before we go on to our third one and see what 2 more teams are going to be coming out with, what comps we're working with, and what's going to happen. But until then, make sure to stay tuned, maybe go a little bit of bathroom break, try to get some food, water, whatever you need, and be sure to stay tuned.
Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Low Ink Round 3. Once again, it is I, Mad Gamer II, joined by NM.
Hello, glad to still be here. I'm still in my seat. I have not gotten up, as we're going to be going on to the third match. Round 3, Group C, Match 53, and in Group C, we have C versus Alliance Moon. You heard that right. In Group C, we have C versus Alliance Moon.
There's nothing to see here.
Of course it was a Group C. So somebody, I will find you. Somebody was like, oh, their name is C. Let's put them in Group C. I will find you. Because you did that intentionally. There's no way that was on accident.
For sure. And once again, we're gonna be surprised by. Okay, we're gonna be surprised by these comps, and then these maps though. All right.
Oh yeah.
Got Tower Control Sturgeon.
Yeah, Tower Control Sturgeon. Sturgeon, I will admit, has fallen off for me from Splatoon 2. I love this thing in Splatoon 2, and I feel like Sturgeon Shipyard, if there was actually a mechanic that would like with Big Run, where it's like they would take the map away. Like if you did not save it, if they just like straight up took the map away, I don't know how I'd feel. I'd honestly be split. But Tower Control is still really good on this one.
Yeah, Tower or Sturgeon Shipyard, like I enjoyed Splatoon 2. I still kind of enjoy it in this game, but I think just the crab meta kind of, I don't know, threw it under the bus a bit. Like you is so hard to break out once you have a crab on your snipe.
So true. It's so easy to just take control of some spots on this map. And of course, being able to take the opponent's right side is so important in this map. That is just like, that's what your Slayers mainly have to be looking at. Nobody can get on that right side, those gray areas, like nobody can go there. Because if the other team gets that area, it's so easy for them to defend.
No, absolutely. I think like the one saving grace of Tower Control is like they gotta come to you. So like even if you can't break out, at some point they're gonna come in your range and you can stall them out before you can start making your way back to mid.
Seeing the comps here, it's really lovely. Both teams actually, I was about to say, it's really lovely seeing the heavy deco, the brand new heavy, but both teams are running it very interesting here. I regard this, it's a really good weapon. I think it's a solid high tier, and it can be a good alternative if you don't want to play ballpoint, if you don't want to play vanilla heavy. Seeing that on Tower Control, though, is definitely interesting, considering Kraken has fallen off.
Yeah, at least with vanilla heavy, you can throw your Wavebreaker and hold tower for a long period of time, but Kraken, you get touched with a single drop of ink, you are knocked off. There's no way to hold tower with a Kraken anymore.
Yeah, no, that's just not how it works anymore. But with that, it's 2 down on both teams. It's just up to Jason Tower first. That going to Alliance Moon. Going to be able to take out Kiko there as they were sitting on there with the Fleet Squelchers. Another pick you actually just don't see a lot nowadays, considering like I tried picking up the Fleet Squelchers when I saw this kid. I tried for like a day. I could not. The main weapon, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I felt like I was in an argument or something.
What are we seeing? There's a Kraken fight on tower here. Like, Alliance Moon is still holding on to tower. The nice strike command to solidify that hold, but C has not been able to really break out after they started this push here. The snowball has been rolling away from them. The machine might be able to stall it out, but oh, whoa, yep, yeah, they're holding it. They got it. They broke the hold.
Yeah, no, this is actually really good for Alliance Moon. Because even though C is able to be pushing up right now and take control of mid, once Alliance Moon gets the tower back, it's just a straight ride towards the end. No checkpoints they have to worry about.
Yeah, but they just got nowhere to be except through C here. But C, they did an excellent job of when they came back. They we see the machine here on snipe. That's going to be an excellent hole for them. They're just going to have to watch out for when they rush the tower. But so far with 2 members down, that's going to be a nice first checkpoint for them, and they're already set up on their base, so this could be a quite turnaround for them.
Quite the turnaround. We're seeing that Kraken still on that tower. They'll be able to break away that second checkpoint. Splash going to go down, but that try's going to go down too. We're really close to getting a lead here. The heavy deco just has to stay alive for a few more seconds, but no, but the T-Tech is going to go down. 3 down, it's just a heavy deco left alive. They can actually take the lead here, but here comes the Kraken from downtown!
Oh, the saving grace there. 1 point away with just the machine left. That Kraken. You thought you could knock off the tower, but not before the Kraken takes down. That's going to be Alliance Moon still in the lead. That was an insane push. Like, both teams, they got nothing left between them and the KO, but they are going to have to get pretty much a KO in order to take this lead back.
That is so funny. Oh my, somebody in chat, please clip that. The Kraken just coming out of nowhere and just clutching up their team. That is such a good play, using that Kraken to the advantage. That is why you love to see Kraken. That's why I want both NZAP and S-Blast. I love both those weapons to death, and I want both of them to get Kraken.
Just absolute Kraken main here. Oh, that's 2 down for Alliance Moon. Like, I was gonna say, it's a bit of a stalemate, but their C is taking down members of Alliance Moon left, right, and center.
Alliance Moon just has to get away back in there, though, because C is just, they are just holding that mid, and now are trying to push up. These Scorchers fed a little bit too much, though, trying to get that wave breaker. That spot is going to go down, but still down on Alliance Moon. It's going to be really good. The Kraken going off the tower, actually. Going to be able to just try to hold mid for a little bit longer. Then you're going to be going down here as we're seeing the T-Tech coming up top here, trying to take down the 3 Scorchers, but respecting the range. Using the Tri-Strike here, really good spot because there goes the machine. They were in Booyah Bomb. No more Booyah Bomb anymore. The 3 Scorchers just trying to distract this T-Tech as long as possible, but that splash is going to do them a little bit. 2 down on the side of Alliance Moon is not going to spell any favor for them trying to stop C from pushing up here. We're actually so close to try to get this lead. The Heavy Deco is still alive. Can the Heavy Deco clutch up again? Can the Kraken come down? No Kraken from downtown. And that is going to be lead, a wipeout, and the win going to C with that last second push.
Man, both of these teams fought hard on that tower in the last few seconds there. Like, we saw both of the buckets just duking it out around and up above the tower. But in the end, Alliance Moon lost too many of their members. The full wipeout just solidified C's victory here.
Yeah, no, just solidifying their victory. But still, seeing both of those Krakens was just really nice to see from both of them. I could see where they were coming from, but of course the meta has shifted with how Kraken is perceived. It still can do the cheese it did back at launch with Clan Blitz. That still exists. But it's just not the same in tower control. Just like a single Booyah Bomb or Tri-Strike, and it is just sending you all the way back, like in Minecraft with a knockout stick. You know, like the knockback sticks that were like in that game. It literally that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you can't really compete with the strikes or the Booyah Bomb, but I feel like with this map in particular, like, we saw they were able to push the tower with the Kraken once the tower got near a ledge, because that's the main thing that Kraken really struggles with, is just the verticality. You can't really get the nice speed or power that it has when it's trying to go up walls, but if you can just jump from one ledge to another, it's game over for whoever's riding that tower.
Yeah, that Kraken came straight from downtown, trying to get that initial just hold, but of course it just was not able to do it. Just seeing what both of those Heavy Decos were able to use their Kraken for was just really inspiring. Of course, I don't play any Kraken weapons. I have not touched Kraken Royale competitively yet in this game. But again, yet. Because if they give it to NZAP or S-Blast, I'm going to be all over that. Because they both can fill niches that Kraken Royale does not have yet, and play so well too. Because with NZAP, you don't have a Kraken weapon yet that can like just spam it to smithereens, but can also play aggressively. Like, you can argue 96, but even then, it's just like a Zap would just do so much more. And with, what am I trying to say? With S-Blast, of course, trying to replicate Custom Range Blaster. I don't think Nintendo ever wants to add Custom Range Blaster back because they're scared. But Torpedo Kraken S-Blast 92. That's a good compromise, right? Give us an actual kit.
NZAP for sure would be crazy with the Kraken. I think Blaster could definitely benefit from as well, especially considering the S-Blast for now has got a Reef slider, which is deadly in the right hands, but it's still easy to fight against if you know how to combat it correctly. But going into Rainmaker and Undertow, I could definitely see the Heavy coming back with that Kraken. Like, even though Rainmaker backline is not necessarily the best pick to have for such a volatile mode, but having the Kraken on hand might just change that.
Yeah, you're still able to like charge in when the Rainmaker is popped and get some points off of that. But we're gonna be seeing probably the better backline option being the ballpoint splat lane coming out on the side of C, but on Alliance Moon actually. Wait, no, on Alliance Moon is the ballpoint, but on C, we're gonna be seeing the Rapid Blaster Deco, which is a really solid Inkjet Blaster option, but of course, more Inkjet options kind of overshadowed by ballpoint, of course. In terms of blasters, they're probably picking Pro Deco over this. The main thing that falls to the Rapid Deco right now is because of Nintendo's guard making decisions with their patches. But of course, we're already seeing Steve pushing out, taking 2 down with a Stamper out of nowhere, trying to take that crab, but is not able to do it. Able to shred it, but not going to be able to get that hit. As the Splash is able to try to get into it, sees the Stamper. They're all going after that Stamper, but all backing up because one sole Splat Bomb. Trying to push back in their machine with the arc shot. Seeing the Booyah Bomb almost at the ready. At the ready here. Here comes the Booyah Bomb. They can easily just control left or right side and try to make a push in here. Taking out this Tribe, but can be taken out themselves.
Yeah, both these teams rocking a sloshing, which does well with the just terrain here. You know, they have to get the picks that they need to push forward. That's really 2 down off Alliance Moon. They can potentially get this checkpoint here if they don't get taken down by the Zipcaster and the Inkjet combo here. If they are unloading all their specials to keep this push from happening. Like Alliance Moon, they still got several members down. They gotta respawn here, but with that special outrage, like they took back a lot of space, but they didn't take down the Rainmaker, so the Rainmaker is gonna have a chance to be pushing this left checkpoint if their team's able to back them up. So like, what cost would they use all those specials for?
Yeah, this Rainmaker is still alive. They don't even have the Inkjet yet. Even though Inkjet is really meta now, even before Inkjet was this powerful, it was still something to watch out for on Rainmaker because of how the mode works. It's just very easy for Inkjet, even before now, to just pick off a Rainmaker by just targeting it.
No, absolutely. I think Zipcaster does a pretty similar job of that, but with the Inkjet has a little bit more consistency with this long range, but that's going to be a wipeout off a C. Alliance Moon has a chance to start taking some ground back, and they're going to get a free first checkpoint, but they aren't going to lose their 2 of their members in the process. Still has a 1 point away from that lead.
Yeah, the members of C are just trying to keep defending this Rainmaker. Both teams have taken out checks, so both teams can just easily run it given the right set of circumstances. But interestingly enough, the Rapid Deco is going to pick up the Rainmaker while the Inkjet is still active. And because of that, it's going to go down. It's actually 3 down on C here. It's just the Booyah Bomb left alive. They're going to run it. They have the tactical. They're going for it, going for 45. Okay, solid, solid. You don't see that many teams competitively right now on this map taking it right side. It's not easy. Of course, my team, but 1-2 buckle my shoe, always tries to take it right side. But that's because we have a goal, we have a bubble. It's so free for us to take the right side because we can just bubble ourselves.
When we have a Booyah Bomb getting thrown at you, going to right exactly where you were before, there wasn't really a whole lot of room for them to move except on that position, and it did give them that little bit of a lead there. 45, not unbeatable at this point, but still a nice place to be sitting at as we get into the last minute and a half. But, ooh, no, 3 down. Like, the ballpoint's still up, still has Inkjet, but they have to go get the Rainmaker, so it wasn't popped. They have to pick it up. That's going to set them back quite a bit as the rest of Alliance Moon is going to be respawning. C has a lot of paint right now. They can certainly make some ground here, but Special is going to be going online for Alliance Moon just soon enough.
Yeah, and that Tri-New Bow coming out of nowhere and just straight up going totally for that Rainmaker. It's going to take them out. Here, as we're seeing the T-Tech going down, but not before the Tetris are going to go down for themselves. To this Tri-New Bow that's already back into action with the Stamper trying to back up. They're just trying to stall out C as much as possible. It's the last minute. Alliance Moon knows in their current position they don't really need to make a push. All they need to do is make sure that C just can't make it and then win.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if you can... The Undertow is such a narrow map in the middle, and they just got a hold of the Rainmaker on C side of that middle there. Like, as soon as C gains ground off Alliance Moon's side, that's when they start getting that advantage back. But the Tetra is getting the double there. Like, even with 2 members up, they still has a chance to defend this. Like, we just need a Zipcaster or an Inkjet, and we do see that Inkjet online for Alliance Moon. That's all they need to keep this Rainmaker from getting that lead back.
Yeah, no, they just have to pick up this Rainmaker and run with it here. But the Inkjet is online for Alliance Moon, which is not going to spell anything good for C here. As C is just in a battle with this, and the Rainmaker is trying to retreat, but can't. Tri-Strike's coming out, there's 2 left alive. The Stamper is on that left side. They have to take out that Stamper right now. There it goes. They're going to be trying to push up this left side, but they have to be careful. But this the try is going in! The try's gonna go for the Rainmaker, but not gonna be able to kick it out. But the T-Tech is gonna be coming from behind. The T-Tech's gonna go down too. Again, they have to be so careful. But they're running it so close here, but the Stamper coming from behind. Can they actually get the lead here? And they get the lead! D is gonna be able to take that second game. Members of Alliance Moon kept trying to run at them one by one. But because of that, that might have been their downfall. Because of that, this third game is just gonna be a matter of can Alliance Moon make sure that C can't get a free O on them.
C played that so well. They were able to keep the Rainmaker safe in that corner for so long. Like, both the T-Tech and the Stamper just rushed them, but got taken down almost immediately. And we saw the Inkjet from the ballpoint get popped so earlier on. Like, they did get one back in time, but were shut down almost immediately. And that's what allowed C to just basically get a free, not necessarily a free reign, but just have an easier time getting past that left corner there to get the lead back. Like, if they had the Inkjet online, that could have spelled a completely different game for them.
Yeah, no, that just could have spelled a completely different game here. But we're going to be moving on to a last map mode, that being Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. A really good one, in my opinion. You know, Scorch isn't truly the best map in the game, but it is really good on Scorch. I mean, on Clams. Scorch is good on Scorch, guys.
Yeah, Scorch is good on Scorch. I have to agree with you. Clams Scorch is definitely one of my favorite Clams maps, I think. Like, definitely Clams is my favorite mode for Scorch Gorge, but you just got a lot of open space to work with here. Like, it can be a bit scrappy at the beginning when you're waiting for those Clams to spawn, but there's a lot more room to work with. Even if there's only just the one ramp to get to the basket, it's still a good, a lot of variety of weapons you can play on here.
There's a really good amount of variety, and anything works here. This is like, honestly, this is a truly neutral map. Of course.
Now, I think one of my favorite weapons to play on here is the NZAP-85 with that Tactical Cooler. It's like, if you can get that going, the flanks on that grate just open up so much for your team.
It could just open so much, of course, with the coolers. Just keep trying to cycle in Clams back and forth. Of course, we saw both teams in that first game run the heavy deco. And, of course, Kraken is not the best in tower control, but in Clam Blitz, it can be a demon. So I could see both of those coming back in, but of course, it's a matter of if you really want to run a heavy deco with that Kraken, which is really good in Clam Blitz, over the best weapon in the game right now.
That is a tough pick because both Splatlings do pretty darn well for Scorch Gorge, just because pretty much any map where you have a lot of grading, Splatling is going to do exceptionally well, and this is no exception. Because of the one flank that it has, just for both defense and offense, the Splatling can just set up in mid pretty easily, but that is going to be the pick. Kraken versus the Inkjet.
Yep, we're seeing one so far, 1 out of the 2 popping that heavy deco, but the other one is going completely non-backline, opting for a more meta comp here, seeing the double splash, the Splatana Stamper, and the vanilla slasher, which a lot of teams have been picking instead of the slash machine for right now, as they're still trying to figure out what truly is the best midline AoE option between that and some flashes. We have game with the Pro Deco, a little bit of the regular Rapid Deco, and the S-Class Lane 2 have a little bit of something in there too. But already seeing a push coming out from C here, trying to come in with the Alliance move back up a little bit. They have that heavy deco, so we could be seeing some Kraken shenanigans this match, as the Stamper is trying to set themselves up. They have 6, and it's actually 3 down because this heavy deco is in their spawn. I guess the Kraken goes so hard.
Like, forget the flank. We're just gonna go in through the front door with this Kraken and just set up base here. That's the other thing that I didn't mention, was like, if you can get your backline on the enemy snipe, it is gonna be so hard for you to push back in, but they are able to stop that push before it gets out of hand. P5 though is an excellent first pick, I think.
Yeah, no, excellent first one. as we see the T-Tech going down. We see the Crab Tank coming out here, but here comes the Kraken. Make sure that doesn't go near that Crab Tank because that will shred it. As we say, they're trying to push up. Crab Tank is almost gone, but not before taking down that Tri-Slasher with them. Seeing the Heavy Deco. The Heavy Deco is going to go down, but can the Stamper go down alongside the Heavy Deco? It is not going to go down, and Splash is actually going to go down. As Planter is trying to push up. Zipcaster coming out here, going to be able to take one. The Slosher is in the corner, going to be able to try to take out another. The Slosher is going to go down, and that is a bring down on the side of C here, as the Lion's Moon is pushing up, trying to see if they can be able to get towards mid and get some clams coming online as they have a ball at the ready. They have the triple ink shred. They have the Inkjet at the ready. The Inkjet is going to be coming out here, seeing if they can do anything. Going down to the Flash-O-Matic with the Crab Tank, trying to see if they can handle the right side. 2 down, going to be going on the Lion's Moon, as we are seeing the Stamper trying to back up as much as they can. They're going to be able to get some jumps in there, as it's really useful for them. Just trying to use some charge flashes, but the Tri-Strike is going to be coming in to try to give them a little bit more space in mid, trying to come out here, but so many bombs to be able to pick that Slosher down, as there's so many clams on the side of both teams. They both have an option to push, but C has too many down. But the Splash is going to be coming out of nowhere to top mid, but not for the Splash Bomb. Going to take down on C here as the Splash is trying to back up. We see the other Splash in their spawn. Another one down. 2 down on both sides here as the jump is coming out as the Stamper is going to be able to set a ball in. I am done with my auction talk. It's coming out to $5.99.
Yeah, Lion's Moon almost had round 2 ready to go, but just the one crab there was what it needed to shut it down. And while they were able to get another power clump in right there, they didn't have any members up to really follow it up. You know, whatever members they had were smart enough to stay back, stay alive, because they're going to be able to keep some space here, but that is going to give a Kitty Clam to C here. Now, still at 62, that could just be easily taken back with 2 power clams, and already C is trying to take some ground and get that push going, but Alliance Moon is going to have something to say about it here.
They have something to say about it here, as we're seeing that Stamper just hard trying to pick off this Splash, but the Splash is going to be able to make it out alive, but not before their teammates, which is also Stamper, is going to go down themselves. We're seeing Shark here just trying to back up. They have the Inkjet actually ready. We haven't seen a little bit more Tri-Slosher recently because, again, Inkjet, of course, being a really aggressive Inkjet option, as people have been trying to play this alongside, you know, use both Tri, as that's the better kit, you know, at least with a sub, you have Busy Bomb. But either way, they still have that Inkjet at the ready, just opting to keep it for a little bit longer, as they see somebody is coming into their spawn, another coming in, taking out the Tri, and that's going to be 2 down the side of C. But C is going to be able to get the lead. They're going to be able to take it to 48 right now. And they actually have 2 more clams, taking it down to 42, but this T-Tech wants them gone. Well, the T-Tech is not going to get them gone. There's 3 more clams. They're going to be able to set up here. 3 more going in. That's down to 33. Oh, can we get more? Can we get another? Can we get another? Am I seeing 30? Am I seeing 30? No, I am not seeing 30.
Yeah, I was going to say Alliance Moon with that lead, all they needed to do was just keep control of mid. Like, they didn't need to be too aggressive, but C just broke through their defenses there, bringing it down to 33, and that's going to force Alliance Moon to have to push out. Like, they have to make a push, because we're down to 30 seconds, and that's going to be, what, 2 power clams at least, just to get through their penalty and whatnot? Like, they can definitely bring this back, but they're going to have to make some major plays here, and C is just, oh, so much blue paint right now. They're going to be locking down this as best they can.
Not just all paint, but all specials too. We just saw the Tri-Strike come out, and they still, oh wait, no, one of the splashes actually went down, and the Kraken did not get all the way to the clam basket. They're not able to cheese it here. They have both the power clams that they need to get the lead. It's just a matter of can they get in. The only special they have online right now is Tri-Strike and Zipcaster. Tri-Strike going to be coming out here, but that's going to be able to take more space in mid. But we're seeing the Tri-Slasher coming out from the left side. Can this be what they need to in order to distract them back? But no, it is not going to be able to do it. They both go down on the right side without their Inkjet. And because of that, C is going to be able to take the 3rd game in a 3-0.
The Tri there has such good positioning with the Inkjet. They got the pick, and then they were able to get some high ground. The snipe just completely come at them from behind, but they just ran out of time. Like, overtime was out of time, and that was going to be the game for C.
Yeah, out of time for them, as for round 3, it is C going to be able to take in that win. Of course, that's not over for Alliance Moon. It's not over for any team, because today is pretty much all just groups. It is all groups, and then they all come back tomorrow for whatever result they get.
Indeed, but unfortunately for us, we're not going to be here to commentate the rest of rounds. I believe this is our last set before we hand it off to the next set of commentators. So before we sign off, where can the good people find you?
Yep, of course, people can find me on Twitter and Twitch. Oh, wait, I have to change that because I actually changed my Twitter at. I completely forgot, I'm going to be so honest. I'm sorry. But you can find me on Twitch at Ninstar123. I stream sometimes when I feel like it. I might stream this weekend to talk about how I think about my weapon pool and what I'm going to be going into in the Sizzle season. Because again, S-Blast has thrown me through a loop and has made me really think about what weapons I really want to run with the support and also the midline coming on here. And you can find me on Twitter where I talk about whatever's going on with me and my team at _nutmuncher_. That is not a joke.
Sounds good. Well, you can find me in all the usual places: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at IMadGamerII. I also do a fair bit of this Splatoon content from both Twitch and YouTube. It's been taking a bit of a break recently, but I've been enjoying the new Heavy Deco Kraken Royale for real. But I wanted to give a shout out to our streamer Inkfair. Excellent job so far. Keep up the good work, as well as our camera operator JPEG. Love you guys so much, but we are going to be signing off as we prepare for our next set of commentators and rounds, so stay tuned.
Yep.
Good morning, gamers! Welcome back to Low Ink, June 2023. My name is Saf, and I'm here with my dearest and nearest friend, Toma. How are you doing today?
I am so excited, Saf, for this great Low Ink. You know, it's Pride Month, gamers. Low Ink, you know what that means, right? Gay Low Ink, let's get this going. And I'm so excited for the matchup we have. We have Arcadia versus the Whiprays. Saf, I know these are teams that are both near and dear to my heart. How excited are you for this matchup?
I feel the exact same way, Toma. I absolutely adore the Whiprays. Arcadia is also a force to be reckoned with as well. And so this matchup that we have for you, ladies, gents, and everyone in between, this is going to be a good one today going into round 4 here at Low Ink. Toma, specifically, I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of backline action coming out from the Whiprays. They have such a strong backline player with Rhythm that usually likes to use the Hydra splatling and or the heavy splatling as well. But Arcadia also is a strong force to be reckoned with too. They also have some strong backline capability coming out as well. And so I think it's going to be a good matchup, Toma. This is going to be a really good match. I think we are spoiled here today.
I think we are too, and you know, both as backline players, I know we are both kind of suckers to see that kind of action and fights going on. But Saf, talking a little bit about what they're going to be going into. Splat Zones on Mako Mart, you know, a classic Splatoon stage. What kind of picks do you maybe expect to see here? You know, not only from the backlines, but you know, those great front lines that they've got on their team as well.
Well, definitely going to be a good one for not your non-shooter players. And definitely, I know that we have a really strong bucket player coming out on the Whiprays. You have Eon that usually uses the Tri-Slosher with the Inkjet. So this is definitely a good pick, I would say, for that, especially for trying to control those stacks. Gaining control of the opposing opponent's stack is usually super crucial when it comes to Splat Zones, and if you want to go for the lockout. But I also think that a good pick here is going to be Crab Tank as well. I mean, Crab Tank is the classic all-rounder meta pick, and it works the same way as a bucket would as well for taking those stacks and clearing a lot of space and also providing yourself a lot of cover too. Crab Tank can also work as kind of a like a body blocker at a lot of times as well if you're trying to get the team to push forward too. So I think that's definitely, I think, to be expected here coming out on Splat Zone's Mako Mart. But I'm also interested to see if we're going to maybe have a ballpoint as well. I mean, just Inkjet is just so crucial in this meta right now, Toma. So being able to get your Inkjet set up in a good spot to, I guess, like have a point of safety and or to have taking the high ground as well, I think that's going to be really crucial here.
I absolutely agree with you, Saf. I think Ballpoint is in such a wonderful space right now in this meta. And as you said, Inkjet is just vital. It deals with area control so much. It can shut down Crab, force them to ball up, or break them as well. And it just applies a lot of pressure onto the stage. I think that, you know, the ledges and the stacks on Mako Mart give you some good return points on that Inkjet too, where you can hide a little bit of where you came from so that you're not going to be immediately splatted on that Inkjet recall as well. And I think you said before that we have the potential of seeing that be Tri-Slosher as well. And I don't even think that, you know, with the state that Inkjet is in right now, Double Jet is definitely not a throw and can bring just a lot of offensive power to the table.
Absolutely. And I also want to comment on our maps and modes today, Toma. We're looking into a snapshot of Splatoon 2 in this round 4 today. I mean, with Splat Zone's Mako, you have Tower, Manta Maria, and you have Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. It's quite literally a little snapshot of some Splatoon 2 gameplay, and bringing us all the way here into Splatoon 3. Almost a year of Splatoon 3, Toma. Hallelujah.
It's crazy to think it's been that long. It feels like just yesterday, you know, this game was released, you know, and maybe that has something to do with me being a little bit sad that there isn't a new Tri-Stringer in over a year. So it feels like it can't have been a year yet, but we sure are coming up on that mark. And, you know, I am so excited to see what's going to be coming out, because, you know, even between Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3, while these may be returning stages and maps that were very popular in Splatoon 2, the meta is completely different. It's no longer this armor missiles, Stingray meta that we had in Splatoon 2, you're going to be having to deal with new and different strategies. So even over that year time, seeing everybody adapt to the new play styles has been so interesting.
Do you think you have to have a membership to go shopping at Mako Mart?
You know, I do. Is it that? Is it like a Costco? Do you have to, like, I wonder. You know, I like to think that, you know, at the very least, right, it feels like Mako Mart feels somewhat refined, right? Because I don't know about you, but every time I come into this place, you know, of course, before I cause a mess of ink all over the floor, like, they keep themselves nice and neat around here.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you kind of look near the top of the ceiling, they have those screens up top, I'm sure for any daily deals or sales that the shoppers want to know about going into Mako Mart. It's set up like a Costco, but you know, I'm not really seeing a lot of bulk shopping here, but maybe Arcadia and the Whiprays can tell us a little bit more about that coming into here. I'm seeing Chumps, Toma. I'm seeing Chumps, and then once again, there is Rhythm with that Hydra Splatling. And honestly, this is kind of the comp that I expected to see coming out from the Whiprays, but we have Mogi on the team right now with the Tri-Strikes as well.
Yes, we sure do on the side of Arcadia as well. Like you said, we saw those Chumps, the ballpoint flatling that you predicted coming out as well as just the splashing machine, which are going to be your kind of very typical picks here in Splatoon 3's meta. But right now, the Whiprays have taken early control of this zone. And I believe this Eon here on the Tri-Slosher, just trying to move around, stay alive, watching for that incoming fire of that Inkjet as Arcadia is able to at least start that flip. But you see they've got the crab tank, they've got the Booyah online, and they're wasting no time in their response here, Saf.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see here we have a control of the right stack coming out from the side of Arcadia. They're able to get a really good pick there. The Splash taking one pick, getting assist on Mogi for the other, taking down this zone at the moment. The bleed here is going to flip in the side of Arcadia at this moment here. But you can see a lot of the members of Arcadia are pushed up pretty far right now, Toma. They're feeling pretty comfortable to be able to kind of bring a lot of aggression, but also being able to keep a lot of pain down at the same time. You can see R there launching those Chumps on the right side, but the Booyah Bomb is going to come out and actually clear that right stack of any Chumps to be had. And you can see Rhythm is trying to assist Mogi to try to take this left stack back from the perspective of the Whiprays. The Whiprays definitely need to try to get back into this zone area, but with the crab coming out and the Tri-Strikes to assist as well, you can see now the zone is going to flip back into the favor of the Whiprays, even though the Inkjet is out looking for assistance, but it's a soft wipe on the side of Arcadia.
Yeah, you saw Kiwi there forced to back up all the way if they didn't want to go down. And now that's going to give Rhythm this great spot here on stack to hold control. But right now, you know, Arcadia is doing exactly what they need to do. They're throwing those fizzy bombs from that machine and that ballpoint on there, trying to create as much pressure. The Inkjet is going to be coming out as well. They're able to find two down on the Whiprays. This zone is now under compression, and you're going to see the Chumps coming out as Arcadia is able to take control of that zone. And Saf, this is the kind of play I expect to see out of both of these teams. We know that they've had absolutely great low ink runs in the past, and just the patience of waiting for the right moment to move in there is great, as now Arcadia is starting to set up for a great hold.
Yeah, and I loved what I saw kind of when that zone possession was flipped there, Toma. Both of the Inkers, meaning the Splash and the Ends Up, stayed in the back zone. They were in a cube formation. They stayed in the back and to make sure that that back zone was painted, while the ballpoint and the machine were able to push up together. The Inkjet was out, and then the machine was kind of taking coverage by the Inkjet to try to provide a little more aggression, which allowed Arcadia to keep the zone into their favor. But now we can see the Whiprays are now trying to make a run for it. Eon is going to go for the trade against Blob there. The Whiprays having the zone in their possession. Two members down on the side of Arcadia with the Chumps coming out and the Crab to follow up, but just not quite enough. The Crab going down, and now the Whiprays penalty is now out of question. They are taking this zone down once again. This has been a really back and forth game for both of these teams, Tona. Both really strong competitors here, and the Whiprays are going to flip the lead. Once again, you can see Sofa set up on this stack here with the Crab, trying to hold 2 members back with assistance from Mogi, and the Whiprays going into game 1 win.
Oh my gosh, Saf, that was a great cleanup there for the Whiprays at the end of that match. You saw they needed to do did exactly what they needed to do. They saw that Crab, they were able to take it out. Taking the specials offline, especially that close to the end of a game, is going to be so vital from stopping your enemy from breaking back in. And at that point, Arcadia was really just struggling to be able to break back to that zone. They knew that they had very limited time. They knew that they had a numbers disadvantage. So at that point, you don't really have too much of a choice but trying to take the fight and win it, which is what we saw happening over on the stacks, but it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and man, Toma, I really love seeing where people on different teams in every skill level, really, at this point, every skill level within low level, I would say, trying to fit this chump and zap into their gameplay. It really does intrigue me because you have the inking power for sure, and the chumps coming out, like, it's very rare to get a chump kill, but when it happens, oh, it's oh so sweet. And so I love seeing where people try to fit this into their composition, and I think for Arcadia, this was a good fit for them. They had a lot of inking power, the machine had a lot of mobility, the ballpoint had a lot of mobility between the splash and the NZAP inking, and the splash too being able to get a good setup with their crab tank, like being on the back column and or being able to push a little bit more forward. And so now with going into game 2, tower control and Manto Maria, do the chumps stay? Do we keep the chumps?
You know, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure if we will see those chumps stay. Tower control is probably going to be one of the weaker modes for chumps to come out on, because of the way that tower control works. You're not going to be able to really as effectively pressure the objective there, as where with zones, you can throw them onto the zone slightly in front of the zone to cause people to back up and be able to take that objective. And you can do similar things in Clam Blitz with where you're pushing through, but Rainmaker and Tower Control are going to be a little bit harder to do that. But of course, you never know where you see as they're loading in if they're going to be bringing it out, and it looks like they are not going to be bringing that back. But you know what we do see, I would love to comment on real fast, is that Anarchy Nova, which I think is a very great pick, as we've talked about Inkjet being a really, really strong choice in this meta. And while Ballpoint is obviously a great Inkjet option, I think Anarchy is able to get itself into a little bit more aggressive positions and farm it up faster, as we see that Inkjet already coming out, getting a great pick there on Arcadia.
Wow. Yeah, Sofa King's got to be feeling pretty good about that one right now, and make it 2 picks coming from Sofa King with that Anarchy Nova. Definitely an excellent choice here. The Ink Mines, though, I think are maybe its Achilles heel, but if you're able to really do well with the Inkjet, then I don't think that sub really matters. I feel that people like to pick the Anarchy Nova to main the Inkjet because it can build so quickly, but right out the gate, the Whiprays are going to be taking this tower over to checkpoint 1, and the jump out coming from Arcadia. Arcadia looking to maybe rearrange themselves. They don't want to rush it here. You don't want to push it and find yourself into like a snowballing position and or a place where you're kind of just feeding and staggering yourselves out here. But Sofa King, once again, another pick off of Arcadia, holding 2 members into that left side, 2 members going down, and it's a 2 versus 2 situation with an Inkjet of their own in response, but the tower's still moving forward for the Whiprays.
Yep, right now, but on the response, we have Arcadia getting a little bit of that soft weight. Now we're going to be able to push through mid and start gaining control of their own staff. And now this is where the fight happens. They're going to be getting their score here right now. They've already lost that 52, though, to the Inkjet from the Whiprays once again, as they're just trying to barely push past this first checkpoint. They're able to break it right there, Saf, and now they're going to be trying to move forward, but this is just a lot of offensive pressure they're facing.
Yeah, and it looks like Arcadia's kind of bunched up onto that platform side on the left side there, but they're able to kind of pull it out. Now we're finding ourselves in the street. We're at checkpoint 2. Arcadia is going to flip this lead down to the 52 mark, but now we're in a 2v2, a 2 versus 1 situation at the moment here. Arcadia is going to need to maybe back off to try to renegotiate what they kind of want to do here. I mean, they have really strong mid control at this moment. but you can see the Whiprays here, especially with Eon and Sofa King moving in together, maybe trying to find some callouts here, trying to find the members of Arcadia where they're going to be at. They're looking forward to see if they can try to maybe make another push going, but you can see the Splash was trying to go in for the flank there, trying to take out Sofa King from that Inkjet, but was unsuccessful in doing so, and especially with the follow-up of Rhythm standing up on that mask area, crucial spot for the Hydra. And if Whiprays are able to defend Rhythm here so Rhythm can get comfortable on this tower, it could be really dangerous for Arcadia.
Yep, right now Arcadia is trying desperately to defend against the Whiprays as those Ink Jets are both coming out in tandem together, and the 52 gonna win a great fight there for Arcadia in the defense against the Tri-Slosher too. Eon does get that trade out, but right now that's going to give Arcadia just a little bit of breathing room as this score is so close. So we're going to go a little bit back more into this neutral game as they're up on both sides. The crab take and strikes coming out from each side, both trying to pop those specials, and a great pick found onto Rhythm, but the 52 does go down on Arcadia as well. And oh my god, the Stamper taking Sofa King out of the sky there. That's going to be great. We've seen great Inkjets time and time again from our Whiprays, so we need to make sure that they're dealing with those. So that Stamper pick, absolutely huge. It looks like it may potentially be giving Arcadia the opportunity to move past this checkpoint, but of course, as soon as I'm talking about that, a little bit of the Commentators curse, they're not going to be able to extend their lead there. Good defense from the Whiprays.
Yeah, Rhythm taking out that Shower Rider, they were just, it was open season for Rhythm at that moment. And you can see now the 52 is going to go down to the Whiprays in mid there. You have Sofa King once again coming out with this Inkjet. Not really finding any picks, unfortunately, but definitely clearing the space. Being able to maintain a lot of mid space here for themselves, putting a lot of defense in for Rhythm. You can see two members of Arcadia going down there, I believe by Mogi, which was an excellent and crucial point for them there. Sofa King trying to run around this tower. You're using the little spike, whatever you want to call it there, as some defense to try to make sure that they don't get picked off there. Inkjet once again, Sofa King having Inkjet time and time again, getting one pick, looking for the second pick on the landing point, but getting taken down, unfortunately. Eon trying to follow up, going in for the trade now. Whiprays able to flip their lead with 8 seconds left to go. This is Arcadia's last moment to try to flip this lead.
Yes, it definitely is, and overtime is going to be going in right now. They're going a long way to go, Saf, though, and it looks like actually somebody slipped onto that tower right there behind them, so that is going to be a game.
Yeah, excellent game by the Whiprays. The Whiprays going to be taking this round, but we are still going to be finding ourselves going to a game 3 on over to Rain, Sturgeon Shipyard. But man, Sofa King and Inkjet, wow. I mean, match made in heaven? I don't know.
I absolutely loved that Inkjet from Sofa King. I think that 100% was a huge advantage on the side of the Whiprays, because every time that Sofa King popped that Inkjet, pretty much the advantage state changed for the Whiprays, and he knew exactly where those needed to be popped and where he needed to be looking and getting picks. It was just crazy gameplay.
Yeah, and I really liked seeing the Inkjet play coming out from R as well. I believe it was R that had the ballpoint. It was R or Blob that was running the ballpoint there, but same thing. Just constantly, there was at least an Inkjet in the sky throughout pretty much the entirety of that game, almost going into overtime. There was always an Inkjet on either side coming out and being into the sky, but I didn't even get to see the final scoring there, but I would assume Sofa King had at least 6, 7 Inkjets, constantly building Inkjet, constantly in jetpack mode and ready to go and gassed up to fly into the air. And looking at this next match mode right now, Toma going into Rainmaker Sturgeon, I mean, the Whiprays are already readied up and good to go. So Arcadia is trying to decipher what they want to do here as their next move.
Yeah, they definitely need to kind of choose carefully at this point in time. They want to be able to make sure that they can try to take this game here to help their standings. So you've got to think about what can you do to counter the Whiprays. And I definitely think from that last game, one thing that was super apparent was figuring out how to counter Sofa King's jet. That's going to be one thing that is going to come out, because if he brings that out here again, they've got to find an answer. And I think this is a great Inkjet map as well. So you've got to really keep that in mind. And it looks like they're going to be bringing out actually an S-Blast as potentially an answer there, along with their own ballpoint T-Tech, which they had already brought out before. And then it looks like we're running more or less some of the same over on the Whiprays side here. But I'm interested in this S-Blast, Saf. We haven't seen this one coming out from Arcadia yet.
Yeah, and I feel that S-Blast isn't really a popular choice at the current moment. I mean, it's one of those things that I think people like to pull out to try to see, hey, you know, maybe this can work. We have some accuracy that I think maybe could benefit us a little bit, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out for Arcadia. I mean, I'm hoping for the best, Toma, for both sides, absolutely, but right out the gate, Aeon was going in for the trade and they were taken down. Now we're in a 3v3 situation. The Crab is online though for Arcadia. We've decided to take the Crab out of the side of the Whiprays and we replaced it with the Inkjet, which definitely seems to be benefiting them quite heavily throughout these games right now. But we're going to see the Whiprays are going to be the ones to pick up the Rainmaker first. They're looking over to see if we can maybe get some movement going on this right side here, but with having someone up on that spinner and kind of being the eye in the sky for Arcadia, and as I say that, they actually go down, but the Inkjet by the ballpoint is now here in response, taking down Sofa King. What a shot going out there, and now finding a safe landing point and not being flanked. Good thing for Blob, not going to be flanked here today, but the Whiprays are quick to respond here. They already got that Rainmaker popped once again. You can see that Mogi's trying to go with this Trizuka to see if they can look for a pick, maybe find an opening, and the one on the grates has been taken down, looking in through this other area here too. But it looks like the Whiprays are actually just going to take advantage of the opening on Mountain here. The Inkjet once again is going to try to come back in response time, but Sofa King is not going to be afraid, and they're going to take checkpoint 1.
Yeah, it's going to be a great break for them, too. They've got a lot of popping power there. They're able to get the pop as well. Sofa King holding this Rainmaker. They've got to find the path forward here, though. This is a tough place to get through sometimes for some points, but Eon right here carving the path that they need, Saf. And right now, you've got to get that Rainmaker moving, and it looks like the Sofa King is doing that now. 2 down, though, and look, that Inkjet comes out right at the right time to stop that jump, and that's good for them. You know, that jump there has a lot of points. I don't remember exactly what point it goes to, but it does count for a lot of points towards score. So stopping it there, absolutely great for Arcadia.
And Eon trying to come in so aggressively. They keep trying to look for all of these different jump points, but you can see Blob here able to get a double pick off Eon and Rhythm. Now Arcadia making their way back into mid, but not without Sofa King being there with the Inkjet, getting 1 pick, looking for the second one, but with support from Mogi, able to get that second pick and take the Rainmaker down. But now you have Eon back on the response. You have most the Whiprays now have mid back in their possession, looking to pick up this Rainmaker once again and maybe try to find a forward push. You can see Eon once again trying to get themselves high up on this spinner here. They do have juice ready to go, but they are not going to use it here. They're going to just try to maybe be a distraction. And I think it worked for a point here, but nobody's here to help Sofa King kind of defend. It looked like they were maybe looking for the flank, but unfortunately Sofa King getting taken down around near where that first checkpoint is.
Yes, it sure did. Now, sorry, you got that Buddha Bomb actually going to come right out on Arcadia's Crab, going to be shredding it, not letting them get their use out of that special sap. The Tri-Strikes are going to carve a little bit of a way forward, but for the most part, Arcadia is still stuck here in mid, and Eon is looking for that flank on the side. The Inkjet comes out to try to defend the Rainmaker, but it's going to be picked off by that Zuka shot. So there is just so much fire going on here left and right, and now falling off that map, that ballpoint trying to escape the Inkjet coming out from Sofa King.
It was one thing or the other, Toma, and they chose the latter. They chose that it's better for me to fall off than to give you the kill, even though it kind of results in the same thing. But you have Rhythm here on the defense, defending that Rainmaker, waiting for it to reset. The Whiprays are in a really good position to play defense here. Arcadia needs to find their aggression and find their footing to try to get an opening. They're looking over on this right side right now, but Eon is going to go for the flank. No one is going to defend for Eon, kind of ignoring that Inkjet there, but the Inkjet not ignoring them. It was not a return favor. They're going to take them down before they can really cause some damage, but we are going to see the Whiprays picking up the Rainmaker. We have it in their possession at this moment with 20 seconds left to go on the clock. Once again, just the defense game right now for the Whiprays, and they're playing it and executing it beautifully. And it looks like Sofa King maybe said, hey, you know what? I could take the... Oh, no, they fell back down. I thought they were going to take the time to try to go back up there, but they're going to get pincered off by Arcadia. And now, with a few seconds left to go, going into overtime, Arcadia has one last effort to make a push here with two members of the Whiprays going down here. Toma, it's make or break.
Yes, it sure is, and Arcadia now in possession of this Rainmaker, but Saf, they have to not only take lead, but they're going to have to break a checkpoint, pop, and get lead. Right now, though, Saf, this Rainmaker going towards that left-hand side, but no one over there to back them up. I think Blob realized that now and is shifting this right-hand side where more of their team members are, and that S-Blast is just desperately trying to clear out members of the Whiprays, but it isn't going to be enough, Saf. And that is going to be the Whiprays taking the set 3-0.
Yeah, the defensive maneuvering coming out from the Whiprays there, kind of just running out that clock, was so impressive, Toma. And I mean, it gets to a point where like 39 and Rainmaker, like it's a pretty decent lead. And it's on Sturgeon especially, like you're getting pretty close. You're up into that last ramp area before you reach the platform that has the final podium on it. So I mean, a little bit scary, a little bit it could be more, but it's one of those things where the Whiprays felt confident enough in their lead that they could play defensively in mid, and they kept mid for more than a couple of minutes in their favor. And so I mean, that's the way to do it, honestly. That was like textbook defense.
Yeah, it was, and it really helped that push that they got in early on. Sturgeon Shipyard is kind of one of those maps that ends up being where you can pop that first checkpoint, but it tends to be hard to score too far beyond. It's not one of those maps where you see high scores. It's not one of those maps where you see knockouts. And the Whiprays really use that defensive utility that the map has to their advantage there in the end, and it was very well played.
Absolutely. And I gotta say, from Arcadia too, the response that they had with an inkjet of their own coming out from Blob, that was also a force to be reckoned with. Like that, Blob was able to set up in such good positions and to be supporting their fellow teammates very, very effectively and well. And I gotta say, I did not catch who was playing the S-Blast, but the S-Blast was also trying to be really supportive under that inkjet. They were using the coverage of that inkjet, and in that final push where they were trying to break that first checkpoint, they were trying to keep two different members of the Whiprays up top where that spinner is on the left side where Mountain is. They were trying so hard to keep them up there, but Eon was able to just force their way past them and to beeline it straight for the Rainmaker. And sometimes that can be really hard as a blaster player going up against somebody that is really aggressive and has a short range aggression and, is really, really keen on where their flanks are at. It can be really difficult. And I don't know, man. I think Arcadia put up a really excellent fight here. Like, the Whiprays did not take this win easily.
No, not by any means, and Arcadia is such a force to be reckoned with. They've made great run after great one here in Low Ink, and it's just, it's one of those moments where the games just kind of slipped through them. Whiprays were able to find those, cracks in their gameplay and were able to take advantage of it, and that's by far not easy to do. Coming up against a team like Arcadia, where they don't make a lot of mistakes, where they play really well, it's hard to find and punish those. So kudos to the Whiprays for doing that, and Arcadia, kudos to them still too, for putting up such a fight, because it's not hard, or it's not easy, being in those situations, and it's very hard to be able to take games against a team like them.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to take a look maybe at this round at the moment, Toma. There's a lot of 3-0 happening in this round 4 here, which is kind of wild to think about. Like, there's a lot of 2-1s going on too, but there's a lot of, look at this board here, folks. There's a lot of 3-0s happening here. Overtime going 3-0 over Frosty Salmons. The Jelly Squids getting 0-3. The Koi Pond coming out on top there. You also have Black Squid Ingburger's getting a 2-1, but if you go down right below there, Origami Dragon getting a 3-0 over Harmonic Convergence. I mean, holy smokes. There's a lot of really, really strong matchups happening over here in Group A on this side of groups. And looking into our group as well, there's a lot of 3-0s happening into our group here, the one that we just had with the Whiprays and Arcadia too. There's a lot of 3-0s going on.
Yeah, there sure are. You know, you got looking at Scarlet Fizzy 3-0ing Malibu Rising, great team there. Great from the Ink Up runs. Grizz Co-workers Union, a team that we've seen time and time again, of course, getting a 3-0 as well. Jellyheads 3, actually, fun fact, basically a pickup made almost primarily of Ink Black members who have had great runs in low Ink and other low-level tourneys time and time again, picking up a 3-0 over Squid PNG. Drum and Bass picking up a 3-0 over, I will never pronounce this team's right, but this really long German team name, their C10. Yeah, and that's quite an upset there, actually, as well. So it's insane seeing how some of these matches are playing out.
Yeah, and I also want to point out here, Cosmic Cherry's getting a 3-0 over Minor Inconvenience. Minor Inconvenience being a consistent kind of beta bracket team and also finding themselves in alpha bracket here a few times. So definitely big win for Cosmic Cherries there. But Cosmic Cherries also being kind of a top 32, almost alpha bracket contending team as well. So curious to see how that matchup went. That had to have been a pretty hard-fought match happening on over there. But also Doxed versus Disconnect. Two interesting names going on over there. Doxed getting a 3-0 over Disconnect there. And we can see up in the corner of the bracket there, Octoroyals finding themselves in a bye situation.
Yes, they definitely are. But I am excited to see how these matches are going to be coming together. It looks like, our group looks like it's actually done now. And across these other groups, it actually looks like we're getting ready. We're generating round 5 literally as I speak right now. So I'm suspecting we're going to see a match very, very soon for us here on stream. I'm really excited to see which one it's going to be.
Yeah, me too. Looking over at the bracket right now, we're still here over in Group D. Right now, you have Dragon versus Grizz Co-workers, Dream Team versus Jellyheads. I mean, wow, Toma, there's a lot of good matchups here too. This is a really fun group.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, first of all, the low Ink, there's always really fun matches to see going on. Like Group D, especially, there's just so many names here that I'm familiar with from either playing them or just being around the low-level scene long enough that you see so many familiar faces time and time again, and it's great to see them continuing to be playing here. It looks like we're getting our match in right now for stream, which is going to be Objection versus Reef Rangers.
Objection versus Reef Rangers. I object.
Yeah, these are actually two teams that are unfamiliar to me. These are two teams I have not heard of before, as we were just talking about teams we have heard and seen return a lot of times.
Yeah, I am in the same boat as you. I have no idea what's going to be brought to the table here, but man, oh man, I'm curious to know, and we're here to find out today on June Low Ink, Toma. So I mean, going into the first matchup, like what are we hoping to find? What are we hoping to see? Any predictions on weapons?
Well, let's see here. If we're going to scroll down, we see that we're going to be starting on Clam Blitz Humpback Pump Track, if I'm not mistaken. And this is going to be kind of an interesting thing, right, Saf? Because these are teams I don't recognize. I don't know if they're returners from Splatoon 2, and this is just such a new meta. So to this team, Clam Blitz Humpback Pump Track may be something completely new to them. It may be something that they've never ever played before. And of course, I'm not familiar with these teams either, but one thing I will say that I think really, really works here, I really like rollers or splatanas that can kind of camp that ledge underneath the basket, or just really use that kind of curved architecture of humpback pump track to their advantage by flinging like ink up and over ledges. I think that rollers especially have such great niche on this map.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And honestly, from the backline perspective, I really love using C-Jet here. I love using the rain. I think the rain is really good. Like, this map is so open, so rain and missiles, especially like you said with the Wiper, if you're going to try to pull out Wiper Deco, or even a roller if you use a Flingza, I think that those two specials can really thrive here, because not only do you have a lot of open space, there's a lot to see here on Humpback Pump Track. There's a lot of skating to be done, a lot of open ground to be shredded, if you know what I'm saying. And so having those, like a tracking special in the way of missiles, but also even using a wave breaker too. Wave breaker may be a little bit more detrimental, could be a lot easier to break, I can understand that, but having the missiles being a damage painting and also tracking at the same time, super crucial, I think, for this one.
Yeah, it absolutely is gonna be. And I think the big thing, you have to think about your approach options, right? You have this really, really telegraphed approach to the right side of your enemy's clam basket, where you can come all the way up that really, really long strip to try to come at them. And it's very telegraphed, but it gives you a little bit more room to back out if something starts going wrong. It gives you the opportunity to drop back into mid if something starts going wrong. But it's gonna take a lot longer to break through, as opposed to the direct approach that I think you're gonna see teams take more often. Is gonna be just coming straight from mid, right underneath that clam basket. But there you are going to be suffering. You are going to have the low ground disadvantage. The defending team does have high ground advantage there. They have that ledge to look down on you on. They can throw bombs. They can really flush people out of that area if they're using all the tools in their arsenal to their advantage.
Yeah, and one thing too major about this map as well, Toma, is there's really only one flanking point towards the basket, and it's that like left or right elbow side, depending on what perspective you're on. And so if you have someone that can play very aggressively and be very sneaky, that's a really crucial point to be looking out for. Maybe you want your backline, if they are not down in mid with you, if you're not pushing, you want your backline to be watching that flank. I mean, backline has a really crucial role here on this map, because like I said, it's so open. There's so much to see, and there's so much space to be taken, and there's a lot of little sneaking points with a lot of the lower ground parts on the left and right sides of the middle area. So being able to have a good perspective on where your team is at, and also watching that one flank, could really make or break a game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you have to say there, Staff. And I mean, well, let's be honest, that's, kind of Splatoon 3 the game. There's only one flank, so it's pretty natural for backlines at this point to be able to understand that they've got to watch that. But I think it's definitely even more crucial now here, because that flank also just gives you so much space into the enemy base. Some flanks, if you get caught on them, oh well, like whatever, you may lose a push. It may not be the biggest thing in the world. But if they can break in through that flank and they're up in your base, they can place beacons there, they can get jumps in, they can set up a push that is going to last for a really long time and is going to be really hard to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be really keen on where your front line is also going to set themselves up as well. You got to be careful about maybe pushing too far forward, because like, once again, this is another easy map to get snowballed on. It's very easy to get spawn trapped, and especially if you lose control of that left or right elbow side, it can be really detrimental. And I think too, one thing to note, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think on Splatoon 2, that right side, if you're coming out of spawn, there used to be a way to climb up from there. So there was 2 different choke points. Is that correct?
I know that there was an inkable wall there, at least in a Rainmaker, and I'm fairly certain it was there in Clam Blitz as well. But it's been so long since we've played this map, Sav, and my team personally, we've had members out, so we haven't been able to practice since the start of this new season, just because people have been out of town. So this map is still as new to me as it probably is to these players, as far as it within a Splatoon 3 context is involved.
Yeah, and I believe if that if that inkable wall is there, it's really easy to get trapped in because you can get pincered from both sides. But I believe in this one, the inkable wall is not there, so there really is only one crucial flanking point to be had. But looking at our comps at this moment here, we have a Dynamo, Toma! Dynamo in! Oh my gosh, Reef Rangers, what are we cooking over here?
You know, I have to respect that choice because when I played Splatoon 2, you know, back when the Dynamo was a little bit more of a weapon than it is in Splatoon 3, I loved this weapon on this map. So we're going to see if it's going to be working out for them. But right now, they are going to have an early 2-down situation on the side of Reef Ranger. That Dynamo is going to be kind of over here on that little window, trying to put pressure here onto this charger and keep space for them. It looks like they do at least find a pick. I think that Dynamo, you know, if it's going to have a niche map, this is going to be the map for it. And I said before, rollers are so good here, and just the paint output and the range that Dynamo has really uses this map's geometry to its advantage.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And no shooters on the side of Reef Rangers here. Holy smokes. I'm a little nervous for them, but you know what? If they're gonna cook with it, we're gonna roll with it too. Objection is gonna be making the first barrier pop here, 2 going down, but they do have that special online coming out from the Wiper. They do have that stamp in their pocket here, but that push was shut down pretty quickly, but we are still seeing that Objection is still able to get a few more clams in there. Now with the final member going down and that basket looking like it's going to come to a close, but Reef Rangers quick on the response time, Toma. Already 2 members still going down. We see that these guys are getting staggered at this moment with a power clam in their possession, taking it closer and closer to the basket there. You can see Raze and Silverona trying to get that clam push, and they are successful in doing so. Pillar and Silverona able to follow up with a few more, flipping that lead down to the 59 mark. We're still 3.5 minutes in this game, and Reef Rangers still have a power clam. You can see Objection. Most of their members, I think, fell down into that pit area a little bit too quickly, got a little hasty there, but the Tetra player is able to follow up and to stop that push from going any further down to the 47 mark for Reef Rangers.
Absolutely, and that's a huge stop there too, because if they had gone down to 27 getting that power clam in, that would be a much more iffy situation to be in. Of course, still a lead that they're going to have to come back on, but this is much more manageable to do so, especially with over half of this game left. Right now, though, they're going to have to work to reestablish control in mid. They're going to be fighting this carbon roller going down. Reef Ranger still going to hold control here, but the hammer coming behind. I don't think that the Reef Rangers knew that was there, and while it didn't provide a jump in, it did definitely stagger some members of Reef Rangers, and the power clam is going to find its way to basket. Now they've got another power clam online, hesitating for just a second before throwing it in, bringing that lead down now to 27 and flipping it. That's a great push there for Reef Rangers, although it looks like that's going to be where it comes to an end as they're trying to re-enter, taking a trade there with them, which is going to be good for stopping Reef Rangers' momentum on the counter push.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see too, I think that was really good usage of the killer whale there for the Dynamo to kind of get some coverage. And we're seeing the Dynamo play really aggressively in this map right now, Toma. I mean, not only just like trading, but even if they go down, they are taking somebody with them, even if they are not taking the person that took them down, if you know what I'm saying. It's not like a direct, it's like a trade, but it's not the person that they were killing kind of trade. But right now, Reef Rangers still have most of mid in their control. They have 7 clams. They're looking for the jump. Prince coming in with the jump. With the power clam, the barrier's busted open once again. You see Savannah on the follow-up with a few more clams, but Objection quick to follow up, flipping the lead once again for Reef Rangers. We are just going back and forth here.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to continue to extend that lead as well, Saf, and that is so great for them right now. They need to try to find a few more clams. They throw one, but it just misses the basket, but Saf, there it goes, down to 2, and now this is going to force Objection that if they want to win this game, they're basically going to have to knock it out. But, you know, 27 left with a 29 penalty, that's definitely doable. They just need to push. They need to only wait for the right moment. But there's that Dynamo again going forward. You know, you talked about this Dynamo's aggression, and that's exactly what it needs to do, I think. You know, they've got a tri-stringer on their team, so they can't afford to have 2 weapons that are going to sit back. So this Dynamo going forward, getting kills, getting trades even, burning time off the clock is what they need.
And you can see right now, Objection with that stamp, pulling it out, getting a trade off of Daze. They were just trying to look for an opening on that elbow side there, but still having a power clamp in their possession. You can see the Zipcaster coming in, maybe looking for the offensive, but trying to pull back for the defense right now. Only 5 seconds left remaining. Objection needs to get a power clamp in their possession. That the one that they had now breaking. Unfortunate, no one was there to pick it up and to keep it alive, and there was no clams on the field for them to form another one. Reef Rangers coming in strong on game 1.
You know, Saf, and you said you were worried about those no shooters in the Reef Rangers comp, but I think that's just showing, you know, this is a map that doesn't necessarily need shooters. And Reef Rangers was able to really show off and use their weapons to their advantage with this. And I think that they knew that. They knew coming in here, this is a good map for these weapons that we're using. And, you know, even the backline pick. We talked about CJet, which I do think is a great pick too. But I also just love the pick of Tri-Stringer, because unlike Charger, the kind of hill shape isn't going to block you from firing over and sniping or hitting someone that may be hiding behind a ledge or a curb. So really their whole comp was able just to put pressure over those hills and ledges.
And they didn't have as much paint output either as Objection had, but man, the aggressive Dynamo. Nobody expects the flanking Dynamo, Toba. Nobody. And I mean, Prince was just executing that beautifully. They were pushing themselves forward, so far forward, and they felt confident to do so. They got a power clam or two in there, and especially having follow-up from Sylvona as well, feeling pretty safe and to have another teammate there to maybe paint their feet and also maybe get some ticking damage as well. I mean, aggressive Dynamo gameplay, that is what I'm here for, and man, I just want to see Dynamo have its place, and you're absolutely right. Humpback Pump Track is the niche map for Dynamo, and I think it always will be.
100%. And now I'm interested to see, though, what they're going to be bringing to Spot Zone's museum, because this is definitely a map where I think if they don't bring a shooter, if they don't bring more ink-heavy comp than they did last time, they may struggle a little bit. And if I am on the side of Objection and I know that, hey, we may have a paint heavier comp, I'm going to make sure I really want to focus in on that advantage, especially because this is such a huge zone, Sap. Even if you get picks, the time that you have to take to paint the rest of the zone and cap it can make a difference in matches.
Absolutely, but I also want to point out, Toma, with Objection having that ZNF charger on their side, our two roller players on Reef Raiders were not, or Reef Rangers were not afraid. They were not afraid of that ZNF charger. They did not even care that the ZNF charger was there, and it got them in on the win. But we have quite a weapon change up here. Holy smokes, what am I seeing? We have an Exploser, we have the Tri-Stringer still being there, we got a mini, big swig. Well, I mean, we almost have a complete weapon change up here, Toma, except for the Whiprays.
Yeah, and you know, that's, I'm sorry, I wanted to comment on that too. And you know, you got the dually spellers, but like no like regular shooters at all in this match right now.
Right away, you have the Stamp going up and trying to contest into the spawn area of Objection here, and I believe that is Prince that we're seeing on the Mini there. Wow, Dynamo to Mini, that is quite a range, might I say. He's got range, Toma. And not in the way that you would expect, but Reef Rangers coming out strong on this one. I mean, we're down now to the 50 mark, getting pretty close to those last-ditch efforts coming in handy here. You can see Objection just trying to find a point where they can break out. The Wavebreaker is out, and the Rain as well, trying to capture this left side just so that they can make their way back out into mid. Really close to capping the zone here, and they are successful in doing so, and especially with having the tracking online there. Losing the fight to the Viper, unfortunately, but Sylvona having enough damage that they are being taken out and followed up by another member of Objection here. Joy-Con trying to look for the pick as well, maybe trying to lure somebody into the fight, but Sylvona and Prince are going to try to pincer them here with another Viper, though, being on top to try to contest that as well. There's a lot of, like, 1v2s happening here, but it seems like there's quick response time to turn it into a 2v2. I mean, Objection, I think, is playing a little bit more carefully.
I would definitely agree with that fact right now, but right now they're getting great picks to get back in here. Then argue with that sniper, but they go down right as I say that. And now it's just that sniper left down there, going to be actually, I think, trades that Splatana. Rather impressed there with that trade. And Objection's still going to be looking for a way back in. They're going to drop down, find a pick onto the mini. Going to be trying to contest that zone, and able to flip it as well, putting a pretty hefty penalty of 52 on the Reef Rangers. Now Objection trying to take control here of this top. You've got this Charger, the Swiffer, coming out, making the jump across, actually. But look at all this pressure, Saf. You saw that Explo shot, the Stringer shot. It forced these dualies to jump back down to mid and give up that kind of pressure that they were going for. And just lots of quick one-on-one fights happening there. You saw that Whiper just a few seconds ago taking out that Explo. Now you kind of see a little bit of a Stringer versus Swiffer action going on as this timer's gone through. Penalty counting down for Objection now as they're hoping to make a lead change, and with 2 down on Reef Rangers, it's looking like it is going to be the lead change, and that's the full wipe stop. That's gonna be game more than likely for Objection, as it doesn't look like Reef Rangers is just gonna have enough time to get back out there and stop it.
Okay, all I have to say to that is hell yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I loved seeing the Squiffer and the Dually Squelchers play together. Joy-Con and Koos playing together on that middle spinner, that was crucial, Toma. I mean, you mentioned that the Squiffer was able to push forward. I mean, they weren't on the platform for very long. They did get a pick when they did push forward, but they weren't there for super long. But I don't think they would have done that if Joy-Con didn't go with them. If Joy-Con didn't go with them and to kind of give them some support and kind of watch around that right side, I don't think that they would have felt confident enough to push themselves forward and to get on there. But I mean, gosh, popping that bubbler multiple times on that middle spinner there, crucial for Objection, crucial.
Absolutely, I agree with what you say there. Just the so many one-on-one fights that were happening all over that map. You know, like we were seeing just different things coming out from that spec cam, and like it was so much action going on. You saw the fight from the Whiper against the Explo on the side, and then the Dually and the Squiffer fighting in zone, and the Explo trying to come back in, being the last one alive, trying to keep pressure on that zone. There's just so much back and forth, and I think that these two teams, we said about the comp changes at the beginning, but not only were there weapon changes, just their style of play was so spectacularly different from game 1 to game 2.
Yeah, and I love that we are going into the tiebreaker match, and of course it's on TC Inkbot Art Academy. This is going to be this is our tiebreaker match for these two teams, and these wacky comps. I mean, what is going on here? And it is working for both of them. There's weird comps on both sides, so untraditional coming out from both sides, and yet it is working for both of them for different reasons. I mean, man, this is what makes Low Ink so fun and so great, right? Like, you just see this stuff that maybe doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, that first game, we can go back to Humpback. No shooters on the side of Reef Rangers, but you have this aggressive Dynamo that an Objection is like, what do we do about this? What do we do about this? There's so much taking damage. But then you go into this second game with Objection pulling out this Dually Squelcher and Squiffer combo, getting that bubble going on with the Squiffer, but then you have the range of the Squelcher to kind of help and follow up as well. I mean, I really couldn't even tell you what we're going to see in game 3. Like, normally you're like, oh, there could be a crab. Oh, there could be this, there could be that. But like, what?
There's no telling, Saf. Absolutely no telling.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, and we're about to see what is coming to the table. We do see the return of that Swiffer and Dually combo, and it looks like a little bit more of the same on the side of Reef Rangers, but we finally do see our first shooter coming out from the pillar, gonna be on that Tititech splatter shot.
Yeah, just this has been like a no shooters matchup, no traditional shooters matchup, and I'm wondering if I hope both teams in their respective voice channels are having fun with that, and they both notice that, because these kinds of matches are the ones to me that can present the most challenge and can be so much fun. And Objection, I mean, right here, coming out strong, taking down 3 members of Reef Rangers. You have Koos once again with the Swiffer, gonna pop that bubble, feeling pretty safe on that tower going into first checkpoint and flipping an early lead here, still within the first minute of the game right now. You have Big Swig setting up their Crab, getting a double pick. The Explosher looking to see if they can contest, but not quite enough power to do so. But they're still going to be on this Bats area, but they're going to get almost pincered there by Big Swig and the Hammer coming in. An excellent double pick coming out from the Whiper player right now on the side of Objection. This is snowballing at this moment for them, Doma.
It sure is, and they're exactly where they need to be. We talk about this time and time again, Saf. Those bats are so crucial to control, and now they've got this bubbler, they've got the crab tank coming out too onto this tower as they're providing jumps in for their team, although it looks like that push is going to finally stop there. But 14 in the first minute, 20 seconds, Saf, that is absolutely nothing to scoff at, and I can feel right now Objection's desperation to win. I didn't mention this back at the beginning of these matches, but right now the way that these teams are looking in groups, Reef Rangers is down 0-4, Objection has 1-3, so they really want to pick up a win here, take it to 2-3 if they can, so they can try to get the 3-3 and potentially make day 2. So right now I can feel Objection's desire to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you could say the same thing about Reef Rangers as well. Reef Rangers is definitely looking for a win here to try to get some points on the board right now. And I mean, Objection, depending on how their last matches went, I have no clue what we could have saw in those last matches here. But I think that they are meeting the mark here going against Objection, and especially having these non-shooter comps. 3 members down already, though, on the side of Objection. Reef Rangers is looking to try to make a push here and try to get some footing. There's a beacon there on this on that plat, kind of in the corner on that plat, kind of out in the open. But hey, you know what? That's okay. If it fits, it fits. Reef Rangers is going to try to be pushing this tower right now, but it looks like there's some contention coming out from Objection. Objection is objecting this tower push right now. They are trying to take control of their plat, but they're not making it easy for them. Getting a trade on the map there, but we still see the tower in control of Reef Rangers. They're still trying to get this tower moving, and they are successful in doing so. We're making our way to checkpoint number 1, but Objection, having Koos there with the Squiffer, crucial, being able to have an open sight line to try to defend that second checkpoint and to keep them out.
Absolutely. We see still more beacons coming out time and time again for Reef Rangers, and they're doing a great job of putting those in advantageous places for their team to come back in. And right now, we see that they're doing a great job on these fights, moving into the plat, trying to get pick onto the Viper for the full wipe, but comes just short of getting that. The Viper trades out one more person, and oh my gosh, finally goes down in their stamp. But that Viper putting in a great defense, stalling some time off the clock for Objection to work with, as now the 3-down situation of Objection is traded to 3 down on Reef Rangers, and it looks like Objection is starting to try to get ready to push forward here up on the tower again, trying to just get down a little bit more paint before they do so. You can see here they're working around this left side, maybe seeing if they can build up a little bit of a special, but they are starting to lose members now, Saf, as this kind of back and forth gameplay is happening once again. Reef Rangers is in this great position, goes down though, unfortunately, in their tri-strike. I don't think they saw Objection coming for them right there. The crab popped, but unfortunately right in front of Reef Rangers' face, and you never want to pop a crab right in front of a Splatana, because they will shred that, and they're going to be running in on that charger, but go down now. This bubble up, the charger actually just fearlessly jumping into that bubble there, Seth. Wow, I am amazed there, but look at this, just still 1 up on Objection. Reef Rangers is doing so good at keeping this pressure up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can see the Explosher was trying to find their footing and to keep them away from the tower with the jumping coming from Pillar, but it was just unfortunate. This Viper taking down both of them, but Reef Rangers is unrelenting in their push. They are trying to keep this tower over near the second checkpoint. So close to popping that second checkpoint, might I add. Here, 15 seconds left to go in the game. There's 2 members down on Objection once again. We're seeing continuous soft wipe after soft wipe happening on Objection. Reef Rangers trying to get this tower pushed as far as they can, but they just keep getting a miss on the second checkpoint here. They just can't get that tower to get going on that second checkpoint. And wow, now Objection taking in the set 2-1. Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. I really think there at the end, when Reef Rangers was pushing, had the 3 down on to Objection, and that last Viper was able to stay alive and get those 2 kills on tower. That was so crucial for Objection. I think that if that fight had gone another way, we may have seen a different outcome in this match.
Well, another thing too I want to note, coming from Koos, our Squiffer player on the side of Objection, they were in a good position in that corner of bats consistently when they were trying to reach that second checkpoint. And I think there was a moment there where the Viper on the side of Reef Rangers was trying to take Koos's attention away from the platform. And I think that if they were successful in doing that, and then they could remove Koos from that back area and to have that open sightline onto that checkpoint, I think Reef Rangers may have been able to turn it around, or there could have been possibility to turn it around, I think. Because consistently, Koos was right there with another teammate to follow up, whether it was the Viper or the Splash player as well. They always had someone to follow up there. And Reef Rangers had the soft wipe on Objection multiple times throughout that game. They had the soft wipe going, but they just couldn't find the footing or the momentum to get past that second checkpoint.
Yeah, they definitely could, but that's going to be closing out that round. And Saf, we talked about it a little bit before, but going into round 6 here very soon, I don't know if you want to just take a look at, these scoreboards with me and see a little bit of what's going on, starting at Group A. Some notable things I'm seeing: Overtime taking 2-1 over Hoot Recruits. Jelly Squid's team I'm very familiar with, beating another team we're both familiar with, No Laughing Matter. We've been Pinky, our lovely friend's new team. Koi Pond, I think, was this one an upset? No, this is actually C2 versus 3. And Koi Pond was able to just edge out the 2-1 over Los. Inkling is going to be setting them up in a really good space. That puts Koi Pond right now leading this group 5-0, and Jelly Squids, Los Inklings are really close behind in those 4-1 situations. These final results coming in are going to be what's really setting up teams for what's going to happen in this last match, because round 6 can be so important for who's going to make day 2 or where you're going to place in day 2.
Yeah, definitely. And switching on over to a different side of groups right now, we have Group A on the screen here, but looking into Group B right now, we can see who's going on and what's going down in Group B. We still have some games going on. You have Moonrise versus Team Biscuits in a 1-1 situation. You have Surf and Turf versus the Fallen Ravens in a 2-0 right now. Surf and Turf going to be the ones taking that set, but Fallen Ravens still having time to gain another win off of them right now. At the top of this group right now, you have Almond Nuts. Who's the Almond Nuts? But they're going 4-0, or they have 1 loss right now, but they have 4 wins in their back pocket today, going forward into this group stage. And looking down the list, you have Pearlescence in this group as well, along with Joke Raiders and Deep Blue 2, and Overkrill 2, which is very, very cool. Oh my gosh, and I see Ink Floyd making their presence known in this Group B as well. Ink Floyd playing in From the Ink Up yesterday as well. Very cool to see them here in Low Ink today right now. But Toma, looking back into our own group right now, we're here over on the side of Group D. Looking at these teams right now, you see, Minor Inconvenience 2-1, Arcadia, very, very cool. You have Dark Masters, another very strong team, 3-0, Eternal Oblivion, Dream Team getting a 2-1 over the Jellyheads. There's still a few matches, I think, going on in our group. You have Shadow, Squidzard, Money Gang. That's funny. Getting a 0-2 on Disconnect, winning that set, but looking to see if they can get their final win potentially. And you still have Cosmic Cherries also getting a 2-1 over Scarlet Fizz. Cosmic Cherries getting the top of our group right now with 5-0, Toma. Wow, but Scarlet Fizzy is right behind them with the 4-1. Minor Inconvenience coming in 3rd, and wow, the Whiprays going in 4th currently in our group.
Yeah, the Whiprays are doing really great. I think that this round 5 actually was their very first loss, losing to Docs. But this group is full of, interesting results to me here. Maybe I haven't kept up with these teams as much as I, have, but there's been some major upsets. The German name that I'm never going to be able to pronounce again, finally picking up their first win. I would expect them to be having more wins at this point in time, but everybody has those low inks every once in a while. You fish down at 2-2 right now as well. A new team that we saw in From the Ink Up last night. Skittles, who I believe is relatively new to the low-level scene, coming in at 2-3, potentially hoping to make their way on to day 2. But right now, kind of looking at, I think, this, middle of a range, kind of 10 to 20, that's where a lot of shifts are still waiting to happen. And these game 6s are really going to make the impact there, especially in that range.
And actually, Toma, I really would like to jump over to the Group C side of the bracket right now. One thing I'm looking at in particular, we saw C earlier in the group stage when we were with IMAD and NM on the mic. C put up a really good fight and got a good win, but they actually got a 2-1 over Zestfest. Zestfest also being another From the Ink Up. And From the Ink Up and I believe LSL contender, a regular LSL contender too, but getting taken down by C in a 2-1. And Wreckfrish going 3-0 over Death Crab for Cutie. Death Crab for Cutie being one of the most unique names in this scene right now. I'm just going to say it. Looking up towards the top of that group though, holy smokes. Alliance Moon getting a 3-0 over Photic Zone. Photic Zone being a consistent top contender team, finding themselves in alpha bracket pretty frequently. Alliance Moon as well being a very strong team, so that's got to be a good win for them going on. You can see Carmessi Colony and Aquatic Vanguard in a 1-1 standoff, looking to see which one is going to take their win into this 5th group. And Tactifueler getting a 2-1 over Calamity Forge Neo. That's got to be feeling good for them as well. But you have Team 7 being the top of this group right now, with Aquatic Vanguard to follow up in second, and Ikaryoku, another really great team, a really strong team that finds themselves improving time and time again into this low-level scene. Ikaryoku being third into this group.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on Team 7. That's a team I haven't heard from before. And, looking here into their bracket, seeded 34, it seems, the TOs maybe not heard of them before either, but they've come in and they have made a name for themselves. Just this round, they were taking the 2-1 over Taco Bell Breakfast Burrito, who was our From the Ink Up champions last night. So that's a huge, huge win there. And the fact that they're currently sitting at the top of their group, potentially only waiting, right as I speak, waiting for Aquatic Vanguard to potentially pass them, which just did happen. Aquatic Vanguard now standing 5-0. That's really impressive, especially if this is their first ever low ink run.
Definitely. That's got to be feeling good for them, and especially if Team 7 is aware that Taco Bell Breakfast Burrito were the winners in a tournament in the previous night. That's also got to feel good, maybe to boost their own ego a little bit there. We're still waiting for round 6 to get seeded out here. We're still looking forward to see who is going to be against who. Still waiting for a couple more matches to get finished up here right now. But in our group, in Group D, that we are looking into, getting a little snapshot of, everybody has finished their rounds at this moment here. So we're just kind of waiting to see where we're going to go from here.
Yeah, we definitely are. It looks like, I think, a bracket just rating right now on, it looks like Vesper versus Not So Shrimple going on over in Group B, which we talked a little bit about earlier. But, Saf, while we've been talking about these teams and their placements, right now, we kind of talked a little bit about the top in each group. So I'm just curious, I want to know your opinion. Who, out of these teams are your top contenders this month? Who do you think stands a really good chance of just taking it all tomorrow during day 2?
Well, if we jump back over to Group A, if we just go from top down, to having our dear caster Inkfair and JPEG, they're kind of jumping around for us as we get to speak to you today on the mic here. But looking over at Group A, at this current moment here with the games that we have right now, we have Koi Pond, Jelly Squids, and Los Inklings taking the top 3 spots. And also, our dear friends at Overtime. We have a dear friend, Elemental, another great spot streamer that likes to stream a lot of tournaments for us. Overtime is there on the 7th spot, so that's looking pretty good. And No Laughing Matter as well, taking in the 9th spot currently in this group setting, so that's got to be looking pretty good for them. Koi Pond, though, and Jelly Squids consistently, time and time again, being really strong contenders, finding themselves in the upper bracket area, usually day 2 contenders pretty consistently. So definitely going to probably be seeing Jelly Squids tomorrow. Black Squid Inkburger, though. We got to know Black Squid Inkburger very well over on Ludi tonight on Splatoon tourney. Black Squid Inkburger as well, doing really well in this low ink and also consistently finding themselves into day 2. So definitely probably will see Black Squid Inkburger over there as well. I mean, obviously Los Inklings and Koi Pond. I think we will see them as well. But a little bit of familiarity coming out for the teams that I had just previously mentioned. And if we're gonna if we have some time to jump back over to Group B, Toma, what are you thinking with Group B here? What are you looking for?
Yeah, definitely Surf and Turf sitting 5-0 right now at the top of their group. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they went 5-1 last low ink. So they may be looking to try to clutch up that 6-0 coming in here. Revelation is another team I definitely have my eyes on. I know having former members from Project Marigold, who is always a fan favorite for a lot of these low level tournaments, definitely stands a good chance. Deep Blues, a former FTIU winner, 3rd place last night, currently sitting in 7th place. 4-1 is definitely, I think, another potential day 2 contender that we're going to be seeing, and those are the big names. Obviously, Almond Nuts, Fallen Ravens stand a good chance there too. Not as familiar with. I've seen Fallen Ravens around. I do know who they are, so they definitely stand a good chance. Almond Nuts is a bit of a new team name to me. But just while we're gonna go hop through everybody real fast too, Aquatic Vanguard over in Group C is up 5-0 right now. Great job there. Ika Ryoku, the Team 7 Matter of Opinion, I think are great things, and I'm going to speed run the rest of the way through. Group D, because we have our match that's about to be ready, is Cosmic Cherry, Scarlet Fizzy, and Minor Inconvenience, all sitting on the top 3 right now, and they're all 3 teams I would expect to be there and expect to be very strong contenders, Saf. But speaking of teams that are going to be really good right now and looking for their chance to get in, we're going to take a little trip over to Group B for our stream match, which is going to be Fatal Error versus Nuh-Uh. Nuh-Uh currently 3-2, Fatal Error 4-1. So this match definitely is going to have a lot of implications on who's making it on to day 2 and where they're going to be making it.
Yeah, and Toma, correct me if I'm wrong, but actually Nuh-Uh has 2 different members I believe that we're very familiar with. We have Cheeto as the captain on Nuh-Uh, a very, very strong Wiper player with Radha, Apollo, and Navy. Navy being another member of Cheeto's team as well. And then if you kind of look over at the Fatal Error I believe is actually a team of their own. Those team tags all matching each other quite splendidly, quite beautifully, I must say so myself. But both teams are getting into this lobby right now. We're getting set up, they're getting situated, and we are almost ready to go, getting started on Scorch Gorge Rainmaker being our game number 1.
Yep, and you're absolutely right. Cheeto and Navy, great team members from Wave Break. Always got a great Splatana. I'm excited to see what Cheeto brings to the table. I love to see their gameplay all the time, but there isn't time to talk about what we think we're going to see, what we think about this map, because we're getting into it right now, and we're actually going to see the double Wiper coming out from the side of Nuh-Uh, and on the side of Fatal Error, we're going to see that roller leader and just one Wiper roller, a little bit more traditional comp there, but I'm excited to see. This is an aggressive comp coming out from Nuh-Uh with those 3 really aggro weapons and that ballpoint to top it off. And the Inkjet can be an aggressive option as well if that ballpoint gets into a good position.
This game on Scorch Rainmaker is sponsored by Wiper. There are 3 Wipers on the map right now. Right away, though, there's a firefight happening in mid with Nuh-Uh being the first to pick up the Rainmaker, but Fatal Error is quick to respawn, taking it down to the 93. Nuh-Uh having 3 members down on the map right now and taking back mid pretty quickly. Fatal Error right now, but Nuh-Uh quick to respawn. I mean, you already have a Wiper getting set up. They're looking for the fight here with the roller. Not quite going to take it, though. Maybe having some support on the side there from the secondary Wiper. Cheeto trying to maybe look for a call out here, looking to see where that Rainmaker is going to try to set themselves up. I believe there's a Stamp right now chasing the Rainmaker, yes. And as I say that, the wipeout happens on Fatal Error. The Stamp kind of cornered them, pigeonholed them into that corner area there, and now they are able to get this Rainmaker going and try to move it back away from that corner right now, but it wasn't quite enough there for Fatal Error to get that Rainmaker picked up, and so Fatal Nuh-Uh is gonna set Nuh-Uh, and they're gonna take this first checkpoint.
Yeah, they sure did, and this Wiper here going to be getting a great 2 down on to Fatal Error as the Rainmaker is picked up, is going to start moving now. They do find a pick with that as well, and you know how Scorch Gorge is, Saf. It's got to be one of those maps where you got to move forward fast, and that E-Leader is going to take advantage of that and stop that push early. Going to turn around also and catch the flanking Wiper, but now Cheeto there throwing that hammer, seeing what they can do. The ballpoint jumping in, but getting sniped off by that leader. It looks like this may be Nuh-Uh's push coming to an end as that Tri-Slosher falls off the map. The Rainmaker is going to reset there, but you know, one of those things, I think you just gotta push a little bit faster. Scorch Gorge is one of those maps where you don't see a lot of KOs. You've got to run it forward. You've got to get those points, because every single point on Scorch Gorge once you're in their base really counts.
Absolutely, and Fatal Error, I believe, had 3 specials online. They had to kind of coordinate those together to get themselves onto the map right now. 2 members of Nuh-Uh going down now, but Nebula is going to take this Rainmaker all the way to that checkpoint. They're going to pop checkpoint at 68. Only a few more points to make it up, to try to get in there and try to flip this lead right now, but Nuh-Uh putting on the aggression. You can see Radha is going to pick up that Rainmaker, maybe try to smooth their way over to the right side to try to drop it back down, but Fatal Error is not going to let it happen. They're going to split the lead here. Support from the crowd from Stoop, trying to give themselves a path painted, but also looking for the pick at the same time. Successful in doing so, getting it down to the 23 mark, but now I think Fatal Error is their time to back up into this mid area and maintain mid while Nuh-Uh tries to make a response.
Absolutely, and Fatal Error not making any fatal errors there. They did exactly what they needed to do, which was just pick up that Rainmaker and run it forward, because let me tell you, Sam, 23, of course, never impossible to beat, but it is a tall order on this map, and right now they're just trying to do what they can to stop Nuh-Uh from coming into their base, and they got a great 3-down situation onto them, which is going to allow them to take more space in mid. They're going to be backing up though from that fight with Radha, making sure not to take that alone. Going to regroup a little bit with their team. You've got Cheeto and Apollo over there in the trench. They do manage to pick off the roller and start sending out these missiles to try to create some space for Nuh-Uh to move forward. They find a pick onto Nebula. They've got both those Vipers up there, the Inkjet. One of them does need to turn around and grab the Rainmaker though, and the leader ready there to defend it, getting a great snipe on them as they jumped off that mid platform there.
Yeah, right in the air, too. Stop them in their tracks, quite literally. Cheeto going in for the trade off of Fluffy. They're not quite able to get their stamps set up, but the leader player feeling really comfortable and confident to be set up here, getting not 1 but 2 picks, looking for the 3rd, but the Rainmaker gets picked up. They were able to kind of smooth their way on over. Lexi getting taken down, the leader and Fluffy down in the process. 2 specials, though, online for Fatal Error. They're looking to try to defend this little ramp area. Apollo trying to look for the pick on Nebula, but not quite finding it there. Trying to see if they can push up, kind of waiting for that Rainmaker to get picked up and to push it forward. Maybe Navy will be our one to pick it up, the ballpoint here. Looking to see if there is a safety spot for them to pick it up, but no. And I'm wrong here. Fatal Error is actually going to be the one to pick up the Rainmaker. They're going to run it as far and wide as they possibly can with 5 seconds to go. Nuh-Uh has their final opportunity to try to make a push and to flip this lead into overtime. But with Lexi being set up on the high ground there, being notorious for getting the splats that they need, I mean, they have this Rainmaker kind of trapped in back mid here. But the ballpoint is going to allow them to get the pick that they needed there and to get the E-Leader out of the way. The stamp coming out to lead the way into the lead. Wow.
Yeah, just waiting it out perfectly for the right time. That is the patience that Nuh-Uh showed us there. They're like, nah, we're not gonna rush it. We're not gonna just throw it in and come right into your leader's range. They waited for that jet to come out. They got the picks that they needed, and wow, Saf, that ending there was exactly what they needed. The patience played properly, the special coordination done well. They got that Wiper there painting the way for the Rainmaker. Just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I think they knew kind of in those last final moments that they really needed to get Lexi out of there. They could not let Lexi, who is the E-Leader player, get set up and get comfortable either in mid or up on that kind of pole area in their spawn, because, I mean, we saw beautiful picks coming out from Lexi. They got someone out of mid-air, you know? I mean, they had to make Nuh-Uh pretty nervous, because if they are able to get themselves comfy there and able to get the picks that they are looking for, then it can be really dangerous for Nuh-Uh. And and I think the ballpoint here, yes, this ballpoint play here, absolutely crucial from Navy, not only taking Lexi out, but looking to see if they could support for the other picks as well, and being successful in doing so. I mean, wowie zowie. Very, very cool. And now going into Clamblitz on Brine Water Springs. Are they going to be keeping this E-Leader pick from Lexi? Is the double wiper going to be returning? I mean, stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, E-Leader on, the Brine Water Springs has always been a really, really strong pick, so I would be pretty surprised to see them come off of it. It's always been a really good weapon, just because of the kind of range that it can exert over the map. We are going to see the ballpoint stick around on the side. I say that, though, teams surprise me time and time again. They're actually going to bring out that heavy splatling, that in-zap, that rapid blaster. That's definitely not what I was expecting, but, I do like the synergy that could potentially be going on there.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seems to me that they were seeing how much fun Nuh-Uh was having with that inkjet, so they decided to bring out an inkjet of their own, which I don't blame them for. I think that is a really good choice to be making, especially if they want to maybe try to combat the aggression that Nuh-Uh was bringing to the table in that last game. But right off the bat, you have a 3-down situation on the side of Nuh-Uh. Fatal Error is going to be taking mid first. They do have a lot of clams in their arsenal right now, but not quite enough to make a power clam. The inkjet is going to be trying to come out here to clear some space, maybe looking for some picks, getting some tick damage, maybe hoping for some follow-up for Nebula to try to get a couple of picks here. Looking to pincer Cheeto excellently by Stoop there in that corner. Cheeto was trying to maybe get some distraction and take some pressure away from the basket to let Nuh-Uh break back out into the map, but they did not let it last for very long. Fatal Error having a power clam in their possession and having mid in their possession as well. Just looking for an opening right now, Toma.
Yeah, they sure are. That's kind of like how Clamblitz always is. Like you say, you get the clams, that you need to find the picks to move in. Kind of a little bit of a team deathmatch that goes on. But right now, the fights look to have changed in favor of Nuh-Uh. As they're sitting here under this ledge, they've got that wiper there, the bucket coming back in with them as well, Saf. And the hammer comes out, but just taken down instantaneously. Unfortunately, something that just happens when you're using hammer. And it looks like the Tri-Slosh is spotted out here on this right side, potentially by the rapid blaster, and the rapid trying to take somebody down, but the wiper does come in for the defense of their teammate. And right now, it's just so much skirmishing going on there in mid, trying to find the picks that they need. The hammer getting thrown up at the power clam, but doesn't quite connect with it, as now just all these specials are being popped on either side. That crab tank, that jet, they just need to find this space, and now 2 down on the side of Nuh-Uh. This may be the opportunity, Saf, that Fatal Error has been waiting for. They throw the clam, but it's able to break in, and now they just need to follow up. They've got a lot of clams to do it, already taking this down to 59 right now, Saf.
Yeah, and I like what they were trying to do in the response there, Toma. Nuh-Uh being on the response. You had one wiper jumping down to the left side. You had the other wiper trying to take the ramp as well. But I just think that they're too staggered right now. But you can see one of the members of Fatal Error was throwing clams up there for them to take, and they just gave them to Apollo. Apollo was just standing right there with their palms wide open, taking the clams in. But Fatal Error is still maintaining this basket open and keeping the members of Nuh-Uh pretty staggered down to the 17 mark. I don't think that they're able to get in there and get any more clams in there, but man, what a push from Fatal Error.
Oh, absolutely. I like to say, anything that you can get more than a power clam, you can get below 62 power clams, or at least a power clam in something is always good, but a push to 17 on your first push of the game, when it took that long for a push to even get started, is really, really good. 17 is a great place for them right now. And now it's up to Nuh-Uh to find their response and their footing. But right now, I think they're getting just a little bit staggered out there as they're falling here into this pit, facing a lot of heavy fire from both that Splatling and from that Rapid Blaster. I think that Fatal Error has found a comp that really works for them, but they've got to be careful, of course. 2 down now on their side. We've seen the speed Nuh-Uh moves with. It can be a nasty situation if they don't pay attention there. And the Inkjet is going to be coming in, trying to clear a path. It does at least allow them to get a power clam in and take 2 down as well, but the only clams are only right there in that Inkjet's hand at the moment. The Tri-Slosher does find some, but a little bit of a scary situation when all your clams are in the hands of your Inkjet. The power clam jump comes in, taking their score down to 30, but Saf, it's just the ballpoint now, dies on the jump out. It's a great push, but it's not enough for the lead, and now with 45 seconds left, there's a lot of pressure on them to build up another clam and get that space again to be able to make another push.
Yeah, I just, that Inkjet coming out from Nuh-Uh and getting 2 picks there, absolutely crucial for them to get in there and get a few more clams, taking it down to the 30 mark. But you're absolutely right. This is make or break at the moment for Nuh-Uh. They really got to keep this power clam in their possession and keep it alive to try to look for another opening. You do see that Viper has special online. They were waiting to kind of use that stamp, waiting for the right moment. Inkjet is going to follow up, but it is just the Splatoon Viper right now that's left alive. Nuh-Uh back on the respawn here, but Fatal Error has no clams to follow up and to make a power clam to get this basket open. It could be beneficial for them in order to make it so that the game will end quicker than they wanted to. But right here, you can see they're gonna, it's now or never, do or die for Nuh-Uh. They're gonna try to push into this basket area, the Inkjet being the one with the power clam in their hands, and we are almost past the halfway mark for the timer in overtime with another Inkjet on respawn. So you can see Cheeto trying to clear the way, but just not enough momentum to be able to do so. Apollo also looking to jump in and make that final throw, but not quite having enough time. Fatal Error taking us into a 1-1 going into game 3 tiebreaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that is just, I think it's an unfortunate little bit of a situation when you pop the Inkjet and the Inkjet is the one with the clam and you desperately need it in that moment. But a great push there at the end. They really almost had that come together. I think if there had just been a little bit longer on that timer, that they could have potentially done something with it, or you know, if that clam had been in the hands of the Viper, potentially you may have seen a different ending there. And these SAF are the games I love when they're so close. If it comes down just to matter to, like, you know, one play, that's so entertaining to me.
Yeah, and Fatal Error was having great clam control through a lot of that game, Toma. I mean, they constantly had power clams up. They had really, really high clam, like individual players had really high clam economy, at least like 4 to 5 plus clams in their hands for throughout most of the game. But they were really struggling to push into that basket. But it seems like once they were really able to get that soft wipe in their hands, I mean, it was smooth sailing from there. We got all the way down to the 17 mark. I mean, in one go. They were just waiting for that moment to go in one fellow push. But I also think that they were struggling with the double Inkjet coming out from Nuh-Uh. You kind of see some reminiscence of Splat 2 meta coming out with a double Inkjet comp. And it's just as powerful here in Splat 3, but right now going into game number 3, it looks like we're maintaining a lot of that same composition. Once again, this round is sponsored by Viper. We have 3 Vipers coming out again into this one.
Yes, we certainly do. I'd love to see it coming out. We see the ballpoint mirrored on both sides right now too, which I'm really excited to see. And I love just the funky kind of Inkjet spots you can get here on Hagglefish, especially if you're using the height of those stacks to apply a lot of pressure. But right now, Fatal Error taking an early control of the zone as the Trikes and all this pressure come out from Nuh-Uh to try to force them back. But they're doing a great job holding at the moment. You see that ballpoint in a great aggressive position to paint the zone, not only but be able to pop Inkjet as well when it comes out. The stamp comes out, finds 2, but it just leaves the ballpoint alive for Nuh-Uh. And now Fatal Error is set up in this really good position where they can take some more space forward, and Saf Nuh-Uh needs to find a way back in. They're going to be trying to do that using these missiles and using these Whiprays coming forward alongside that jet and these tri-strikes you see around there on the side, seeing if they can get something in, but still members of Nuh-Uh just keep going down on these pushes. 3 down now on Nuh-Uh. This is looking to be a little bit nasty for them as we're counting down to these last few seconds, Saf, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get in here.
Yeah, Fatal Error had that one in the bag, Toma, from start to finish. I mean, not only did they stagger the members of Nuh-Uh from coming back out, but there was a point there where Nuh-Uh had to use 3 specials to try to coordinate and get back into the map, but it just wasn't enough. The members of Fatal Error kept just painting over where they were throwing their specials. They were avoiding the inkjet that came at them pretty aggressively, trying to fly over and trying to get back into mid. But once they were able to block the members of Nuh-Uh out, I mean, it was smooth sailing for Fatal Error. So GG's Fatal Error.
Absolutely. And I love what you say there about just backing up, ignoring the inkjet. I think that that's a mistake we see happen time and time again in low levels. People see a jet, and I think your natural instinct is, I want to shoot that down. So you're like, people will run towards the inkjet because they want to shoot it. And that's exactly what the inkjet wants you to do. The inkjet wants you to run forward, so you just come right into its firing range. But backing up there, painting over it, exactly the right call from Fatal Error. It was absolutely brilliantly played. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too that I really want to talk about too is Stoop on the side of Fatal Error. I mean, if we go back to that Clan Blitz game momentarily, I just loved Stoop was not only playing aggressively, but they were also trying to bait at the same time. Like, there was a moment in time where they were down in that lower pit area, and they were trying to get one of the Whipers to pay attention to them. They were like, hey, I know that you're trying to defend your basket, but I'm down here and I'm throwing ink and burst bombs from down here. You should come over here and hang out with me. But not only were they trying to bait, but they were also playing really aggressively. They kept trying to push forward and being in the right place and getting a lot of ink on the ground, and also taking the attention away from the objective at the same time. And I think that that's a really crucial and hard game to play. It's really difficult to do that successfully, and I think Stoop was able to do it so well in that second game.
Yeah, it absolutely was. But Saf, that is going to wrap up round 6 here for us here. That was just beautiful, amazing gameplay. I couldn't have asked for better matches here today, really, in my opinion. We're going to be looking in, there's still a lot of round 6 going on. I don't know if we want to talk about that before we sign off. Round 6 Group A going on. You've got a few games that have come to an end. Objection took a 2-1 over Legends of Splatoon, so it looks like they were actually able to round off there and make that 3-3 potentially for their day 2 hopes. Congratulations there to Objection. Bridge 4 taking a 2-1 over Krill Streak. Recovery 3-0 over Magna Iris. Let's look at Group B. Saf, what do you see there?
All right, jumping on over to Group B and the finals of round 6 here, we have Surf and Turf taking the top spot over Almond Nuts. Surf and Turf getting a 6-0 in their group right now, so definitely finding themselves into day 2. You have Almond Nuts, Fatal Error taking the 3rd spot in Group B. Congratulations. Round of applause for Fatal Error, who we just had the joy and privilege to watch just a few seconds ago. Fallen Ravens also going in on that 4th spot for Group B, but if you look at the just individual matches, you have Pearlescence going 2-1 over Maddo Gizzard Shoni Wang. You have Not So Shrimple taking a 2-0 over Ink Floyd. Ink Floyd maybe looking to get that last win there in their pocket. Group B still has a lot going on here, though. There's still a lot of matches that are unfinished. We see a lot of 1-1s and 2-0s happening over in Group B. So definitely still some fights to be had, and still some wins to be had going on over there. Toma, tell me about Group C. What are we looking at?
Yes, absolutely. In Group C, we got a few matches finished up. Taco Bell Breakfast Burrito. I'm going to be taking that 3 over Undersea Spectacle to round off their run of the day, and I believe that's going to put them, it's in 7th place currently right now, which is definitely setting them up for a really good day to run. Hydra versus In the Trenches. Hydra, as expected, finishing up the 3-0 there in that. Glowfish taking a 2-1 over Honu. And Aquatic Vanguard down there at the bottom, falling 1-2 to Ika Ryoku. Both of those are some really powerhouse teams. It looks like right now still that puts Aquatic Vanguard over Ika Ryoku at the moment. They're both going to finish 5-1 there, but all the tiebreakers, they're going to put Aquatic Vanguard just a little bit, but that's definitely going to send them both to, I believe we're having a top 32 this month, so that's going to send them up to top 32 for sure.
Yeah, looking good for Aquatic Vanguard and for Ikaryoku. And lastly, looking on over at Group D right now, Minor Inconvenience finishing over the Cosmic Cherries right now currently with 5-1, but it looks like Minor Inconvenience was able to 3-0 Grisco Workers Union. Definitely a major win for them, putting them in that top spot there, taking it from Cosmic Cherries. Cosmic Cherries, though, still at a 5-0, fighting with Dark Masters right now. Two very, very strong teams, very high bracket teams at that, duking it out here in a 1-1 scenario, looking for that last win to see who is going to come out on top there. But Scarlet Fizzy also in the 4-1 scenario right now, waiting to finish their fight with the Whiprays in a 1-1 scenario right now. If they are able to finish that 1-1 fight, I believe Scarlet Fizzy is going to take that 3rd spot right now. Whiprays in the 9th spot here, Dark Masters in the 7th spot currently, but there are still games waiting to be finished right now over in Group D. But looking at Skittles getting a 2-1 over New Wave, which places them currently at number 16 spot, which also could change with these other wins and teams still reporting their scores right now. Man, Toma, day 2 is looking pretty wild, gotta say.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I know it's going to be quite a little bit until those matches are finished up. So of course, as always, keep your eyes peeled on the bracket, keep your eyes peeled in that Low Ink announcements channel, later today when we announce who's going to be making top 32 Gamma and Delta bracket. So, but I think that's going to be it for us on Mike, Saf, if I'm not mistaken. So tell me, where can the great people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Safirea. That's 2 P's, 2 A's at Safirea on Twitter. Or you can find me at Riptide in September. If you're going to Riptide, you can see me there hanging out with all of the dear pals and Low-Ink staff at Riptide. But Toma, what about you? If I'm here with the good people of the internet and those out there beyond the internet, where can I find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Crest of Gautier or here on Twitch at twitch.tv/ttoma_. And, fingers crossed, I'm making everything in my books work to come to Riptide as well. So I hope to see you there too, Saf. But everybody here in our audience, thank you so much for joining us for day 1 of June Low Ink, and we hope to see you all back here tomorrow.